Alright, we should be live. I still need a moment to pull up chat and do a few other things, do a Discord announcement, yada yada. So if you're watching the VOD, feel free to skip the first 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, chat is pulled up. Discord announcement is out and ready. Now I'm just gonna add a few tags to the stream and then we'll be good to go. Alright. I think we're good. Good morning, Sachi. See, I got like 2 notifications and I don't know why. Oh, apparently one of them was a new subscriber notification and another one was Onion commenting on the VOD of the last stream. Okay. Good morning, Sachi. I felt like I heard Takako's voice. I opened my eyes to see an elaborately designed ceiling. I sat up and fixed the shoulder strap of my nightgown. The sight of the Victorian sofa and the fancy chest of drawers with a plant on top had grown familiar to me before I knew it. I felt similar to how I did when I stayed at my grandparents' place for extended amounts of time. I pulled the feather-filled sheet closer to myself and inhaled a deep breath. The scent made me think of home. Nanai left for her meeting right after breakfast. I myself returned to my room to get ready for hiking. Nanai had already prepared some sandwiches for me to eat on the road, so there was little else I had to do besides getting changed. My change of clothes were thermal underwear, a thicker jacket, a small bag, a hat, and a pair of hiking shoes I stuffed at the bottom of my suitcase. I ended up picking them because they gave me a certain kind of look, but I wasn't entirely sure of their actual practicality. I went outside as soon as I finished my preparations. The sky was crystal clear, just like the night predicted yesterday. I took a deep breath, letting the scent of trees flood my nostrils. This time, I left the mansion through the front entrance. I passed by the gates next to the parking lot and paused in front of the curving mountain road. Don't know why, but I thought it was called Sea Lilies, not Seabed. Haven't seen these streams that often. Yeah, I was about to say, like, we've been streaming this for at least 2 months, if not like 3 months now, so probably 3 months to be honest, so I'm kind of shocked that you thought it was Sea Lilies. Jesus Christ, what's going on, Saru? Oh yeah, you still doing that stream afterwards of unboxing those cards? Gonna have to pop into that later. To the left stretched the wide road and then I drove down to the town. To the right, the road narrowed, becoming too tight for cars to pass through. The knight told me to follow it if I wanted to go to the mountains. I took out the hiking map for beginners that was left in the lobby and continued toward the first of the marked destinations. I checked my watch to see it was 11:30. The path for the hiking course was actually better paved than the road that I used to drive me to the mansion. It was surprisingly flat too. I had to climb a few stairs here and there, but there were no steep slopes like I'd been expecting. The song of birds echoed across the area. Whenever their chirping became somewhat louder, I'd pause and look for them in the tree branches or among the rocks. Thus far I discovered a Dorian redstart, a pale thrush, and a brown-eared bulbul. All of them were in the bird encyclopedia Kozue found for me. This mountain seems to have a surprising number of birds, just like Nanai said. Yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna do tier lists first to buy some time. Ooh, a tier list of One Piece or of other things as well? The scenery peeking through the thick woods was the same one I saw when the night drove me up to the mansion. A range of mountains and the sea, clearly visible in the distance. Besides that, I only spotted a moss-covered old temple, a relatively high waterfall hidden by the surrounding trees, a shallow river running between the rocks, and a small ancient-looking dam. I'd spent some time looking at each new thing I discovered, and when I found none, I'd instead look for birds. I reached my destination, the observation platform, by 12 o'clock. As I climbed up to it, the scenery of the southern sea extended before me in the distance. The land here curved from the east and continued to the other end of the sea. The green lands and the azure sea seemed almost like they went on forever. All the way to the very edge of the world, under the already boundless blue sky. One Piece villains, ranking straw hats, arcs. Ooh. I sat down on the bench I found on the platform, placing my bag by my feet. The villains one sounds the most interesting to me. Ranking straw hats, it's like there's not a lot of them. There's only like 10 of them. Arcs, I think most people will agree on the arcs. It's kind of predictable. But the villains, that one seems interesting. I had a quick sip from the water bottle I kept in the bag's side pocket. Been yawning for like a good hour. And I took out my sandwiches and began munching away on them. There was not a soul around. It might have been too early for the New Year's season, or perhaps the place was always this deserted. Honestly couldn't tell, but the fact remained that the area was completely deserted. I turned around and looked at the way I came from, but saw no traces of anyone having ascended the path behind me. I listened to the chirping of birds as I ate. A bird landed on one of the tree branches above me. It was a species I'd already spotted before. It was fun to find birds hidden in the scenery. I couldn't recognize most of them, but whenever I found one, I did. It made me happy. Birdwatching might have been a much more fun hobby than I thought. I wondered if I could make out the birds better if I had one of those binoculars. And if I memorized the voices described in the book, I could probably spot and recognize way more species than I did now. I went hiking today just because I figured it'd probably be a waste not to. Do an impromptu sleep stream. This is like a recurring problem. Like I think every day between 2 o'clock to maybe like 5 or 6, I'll just be really sleepy. And then I'll like magically get a second wind, like probably after 6 o'clock. But it ended up being much more fun than I expected. I had no companions to talk to, so I had no choice but to entertain myself solely by observing nature, looking for more animals or interesting trees. Takako would have probably spotted a lot more things than I did. But that only meant I had more things to look forward to in the future. I inhaled a breath and rose to my feet, my body feeling somewhat heavy. It was about time to start heading home. The map's recommended route was not the same road I used to come here. Instead, it led around the mountain, emerging near the back of the library. I could feel the cool breeze on my skin. I descended the gentle slope, fighting against gravity's attempts to hasten my step. I crossed the river, careful of the moss-covered, slippery-looking stones. You wanna know something sad, Saru? I think the bakery near my house is eventually gonna close down. Because I heard the lady who owns the bakery, she was like telling a customer why they have like less hours now. Because they like cut back on hours. And she was telling a customer on the phone, "We've been open for over 50 years. And I'm just like, oh. That means she's like dying to retire. Which is kind of sad. I don't know what's going to happen to the bakery. I don't know if somebody else will take over or if it'll just be gone. But it sounds like they're kind of looking forward to retirement. Which is understandable, but that bakery's been there my whole life. They're the best bakery around, so kind of sad. After a few more minutes on the path, I emerged onto a wide road. I paused there for a moment, as I took out the map from my bag to confirm the direction I should continue in. I spotted a girl walking toward me from one end of the road. It was Kozue. I was thinking, bro, I should ask them to teach me their skills. Tell them I'll be their next baker. I literally thought that. I was like, what if? Hello. Are you going to the library, I asked? Kozue nodded and asked if I was planning to go somewhere. I answered that I was actually on my way back. She gave me an apprehensive look. As I was trying to understand what it meant, she passed by me. I put the mag back in the bag and followed her. Do you know a lake that should be somewhere around here? It's that way. Kozue pointed at the woods. Sorry, do you see where this is going? Heart of the woods. Looking in the direction she pointed in, I couldn't see anything other than the trees. There's a road further down, I'll show you. Now I'm getting DMs, I think, from my IRL friend, now that I turned off the freaking Elden Ring. I followed the path that Kozue showed me. After only a few dozen meters, I could make out a body of water through the tree branches. The lake stretched much wider than I had thought. Its surface still as a mirror. I sat down on a half-withered tree I found, lying on the small sandy beach. It turned out to be sturdier than it looked. It didn't seem like I had to worry about it crashing down under my weight. I shifted my gaze back to the lake, observing the black, humus-covered slope come in contact with the water, as well as another fallen tree with its roots sticking out next to it. It didn't seem like the lake had received any artificial treatment. The area I'd been sitting at was the closest I could get to the water without the risk of falling in. The water was so clear I could see the sand at the lake's bottom. At some areas, it seemed like the surrounding vegetation had also invaded the lake itself, covering parts of its bottom in green. Watching the lake reminded me of that one time Takako invited me to go fishing. Gonna make me sleepy with the yawning? I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna keep doing it though. This is part of your ASMR experience. Should I put that in the title? Yawning ASMR included? We were still in the middle school. Takako, me, and two of our good friends at the time left our houses on our bicycles. Our destination was the lake that Takako's family used to visit by car all the time. She was the only one who knew the location. Takako said it only took 20 minutes by car. But being 2 mountains and 1 river away, the place wasn't exactly easy to reach for a bunch of children. In truth, Takako's 2 friends gave up after seeing the slope leading over the first mountain. I would have left myself, but I knew Takako would not give up and try to press on, with or without us. It would have been bad if she got lost, so I followed her while making sure to remember the way. Memorizing the unusual roofs of the houses around the mountains, I was thinking that I'd have Takako turn back around noon, even if by force. However, by noon we already reached the lake. Yo, yes, the GU ASMR experience. It is time. What's going on, Jack? How was your week, bud? Share some highlights of your week, if you will. I was sharing some highlights earlier during my Genshin stream. I could share them again with you if you're interested. I also posted, Jack, in the Discord a lot more food pics if you're interested in seeing food pics. One of them was some Thai duck that I had recently, and another pic was some Mexican food that Azure recommended I try, and I finally gave it a try. Once again, YouTube treads on us. No notification. I'm telling you, the Discord notifications are the best bet. Even though I know you're also going to get flooded with Genshin notifications at that point. I baked cinnamon rolls today. What? And you haven't posted them in the Discord? Where's my pic? Bro, I was actually thinking of getting cinnamon rolls at the bakery. I don't think they had today. Maybe they'll have it tomorrow. Kind of want some cinnamon rolls, and I kind of want some almond cookies. The duck looks great. It was really good. Although, I will say, like, I had it with tamarind sauce, which was, like, it was okay. But I think maybe next time I might get a different sauce if I get it again. Try something different. Maybe something spicy, even. Takako is overjoyed by having reached the place from her memories. My highlight of the week was 3 things. I'll share them with you. My first highlight was that I went to a doctor's appointment, and when I got back to work in the afternoon, all 20 of my first graders gave me a hug at once. I felt very appreciated. My second highlight is that my human resources department confirmed that there was money missing from my checks, some of them, and I finally got all the money that I was owed. And my third highlight was the food that I ate throughout the week. The Mexican food, the Thai food, all that good stuff on the Discord. Those are my 3 highlights. That told me how little of the way she actually remembered. I looked at the lake currently in front of my eyes. The lake we found with Takako didn't have a wooden pier or a proper path leading to it. It was as wild as the forest around it. It also had a big tree leaning right over the water. I know Saru's here, so I'm gonna tell Saru. When the first graders gave me that big hug, Saru, I felt like Whitebeard, you know? I was like, damn. My sons, my daughters. More money is good. More money is tremendously good. Even though I must say I still want even more money. Takako had the bright idea to do her fishing from atop that very tree. Meanwhile, I laid down a sheet on the sandy beach by the lake, just like this one, and ate a jam sandwich while observing her. It was a pleasant, silent place. We spent about 2 hours at that lake. I read a book I'd brought while Takako attempted to fish. Big fish would sometimes jump above the water, causing ripples to spread along the lake's surface. Oh yeah, I remember you mentioning the convention. And I told you to send pics of hot cosplayers, and you said you were gonna hog all of the hot cosplayer pics. Come on, man. Where's the cosplayers? Post them in the anime channel. Don't do us dirty like this. Come on. Managed to sell a lot of random crap from my trips to Japan at the flea market, so that was cool. Next time I gotta put even more on sale now that I know. Did you have any doujinshi on sale? You probably didn't. You seem just a tad more wholesome than me. But I do ask about doujinshi for a very serious reason. That serious reason being that I found a website that sells physical copies of doujinshi at a reasonable price. And there's some doujinshi that unfortunately I can't find online. They just haven't been posted. I think because there's no like digital version, so nobody like purchased the physical version and scanned it, I guess. So anyway, there's some doujin that I wanted for a while now, and I felt like no one was ever gonna post it, so I found a nice website and I bought it. I bought what I wanted. It hasn't arrived yet. It'll probably arrive this week, and I'm very excited. I will say, I'll give a spoiler, it's a doujinshi, and Tifa is in it from Final Fantasy. It's a Tifa doujin. That's all I will say. What's reasonable? Well, let's put it this way. Like, the actual price of a doujinshi, if you go to, like, Tora no Ana, is usually, like, $5, right? But there's, like, a seller on eBay that I saw that was trying to sell them for, like, $50. I'm like, that's 10 times the price. And I understand there's, like, shipping charges and you want to profit, but that's 10 times the price. So anyway, I found a seller that was selling it for $20. Like, that was the full price. $20. That includes the shipping and all of that, no tax. And I was like, alright, $20, that's decent. That's decent. Like, you know, if I buy it through Tora no Ana, it's gonna be $5 plus shipping. So it'll probably be like $20 anyway. So that works. What's going on, 3D? You're going to a convention too? If you're in the Discord, send pictures of the hot cosplayers. Though we didn't catch anything in the end, Takako was satisfied by the experience. I couldn't remember the way back all that well, but by the time we got back, it was already dark outside. Needless to say, my parents were furious. Tora no Ana shops actually closed during my previous trip. It's now online only. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that from the Anime Man. I think it was on his second channel, which is just called Joey. He was talking about how the physical locations were closing down. I mean, it's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy, but I'm not surprised, because let's be real, like, everything's closing down just around the world. Like, stores are just losing business. People are losing jobs. It's scary, man. It's scary to think of what the world's becoming. I almost got lucky and was able to switch jobs recently, but nope, failed. So my friend was all like, oh, my old job is hiring. And I applied to his old job because it's like over 10,000 better paid than what I'm making right now. But like right when I applied, like a few days later, the position was filled before he could even give his manager a heads up that I was applying. So that sucked. I was so close to getting a job closer to home with a higher salary. And in a more positive work environment. Like, I almost had it all. 20 bucks is reasonable, takes notes. Yeah, 20 bucks is reasonable. 40 to 50 is like, wow, I could clearly tell that you're scalping me. Like, you're not even trying to hide it. And that was 20 bucks, by the way, for a doujinshi that has a decent length. I'm not gonna define what a decent length is, but there's some doujin out there that are like less than 20 pages. Like, you wouldn't pay 20 bucks for that, I don't think. But this one's like a pretty decent length. I think it's worth it. When we left the lake, Takako suggested we come back another day. Plus, this is my first time buying like a physical doujin, because, you know, usually everything is free. So it's also worth it just for the experience of, huh, I'm gonna have a physical doujin. I'm gonna see what that's like now, right? Like, that's interesting. That's something you wouldn't expect to own in this side of the world. Or at least I wouldn't expect to own, I don't know. But yeah, I did give her a half-hearted reply of sorts, but I wasn't really planning on ever coming back. As such, that was the first and last time we went to that lake. I felt a bit sad, so I took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. That was but another little episode from my path. The chilly air filled my lungs, soothing my aching heart. Now that I thought about it, that might have been the farthest trip I had ever taken on a bicycle, and I'd forgotten all about it until now. I tried remembering my childhood. Fishing, hot springs, amusement parks, zoos, aquariums. Takako forced me to accompany her to a whole variety of places. As I remembered the lake from my past, it felt like it began overlapping with the one I was staring at now. Before I knew it, I couldn't tell which detail was supposed to belong to which scenery. I quickly snapped out of that state, realizing I'd been breathing heavily. It probably would have been wise to stay away from those memories until I calmed down, but they started swirling around me like a ship that had lost its rudder. I soon gave up on resisting and instead decided to take an objective look at them. First, I asked myself whether this lake was part of the real world. All lakes look the same anyway, I answered myself. That was probably more or less true. When you start thinking about it too much, the resemblance becomes all the more striking. Or perhaps my memories are actually being overwritten by this scenery. You've never been here before. In any case, this wasn't that lake, and I had no way of returning to the past. Oh, welcome back. I ran into Lily in the lobby. Maybe this is why, Saru, you thought it was sea lilies. Because there's a character named Lily. So I'm pretty sure you've seen Saru in my streams, Jack. I don't know if he's still lurking in the background, but he came in and he said, I thought this game was called Sea Lilies. I didn't remember it was Seabed. Imagine it being Sea Lilies. May as well be Sea Takakos. Hello, I hear you were out hiking. How far did you go? Or follow the route on your map up to Sakuradai. Oh, Sakuradai. The scenery is quite striking there, especially during good weather. It was nice, wasn't it? I could see beyond the gulf from the observation platform. I had lunch there, then circled around the mountain to come back. I see. Nana has only just returned too. I think she's preparing dinner right now. An understandable mistake? I don't know about that. I think you're being very generous. I see. Oh, that's right. I brought Kozue to the architectural office the other day. Everyone really liked her. Was it just me, or did the screen like kind of flash a little bit before her crazy smile? I don't know, man. I worry about this Lily gal sometimes. At first, she was quiet as a mouse. But once we began talking about the mansion, she suddenly started asking more and more questions. Until even the guys at the office started to run out of answers. In the end, they told us to come visit again anytime. I'm glad to hear that. Kozue said she was worried about bothering everyone with her curiosity. I see. I'm the one who invited her, so there really was no need for her to worry. To think she's already considering these things at her age. My, what a nice girl. She might come off as a bit shy at first, but once you talk to her, you realize she can be surprisingly assertive. And she's cute as a button, to boot. I wish Nana was more like her when she was a child. I imagine Nanaya was quite active in her younger years. To let you appreciate her expression, the text box faded out and in to let you appreciate her expression. Is that how it goes? I don't know, man. It felt like it was trying to transition into like a Doki Doki Literature Club moment. Indeed, she was. At Kozue's age, she was still running around in the mountains looking for insects. Yes, she didn't seem like the kind of girl who'd be afraid of bugs. I imagined the night chasing after insects and fishing in the mountains, which in turn made me remember Takako. Oh, will you look at the time? That's like one of my favorite phrases. Like whenever somebody's about to call me out on something. Oh, will you look at the time? And then you just dip. Said Lily as she glanced at the clock. To tell the truth, I still haven't finished some of my duties. We can discuss Nana's childhood some other time. Okay. See you later then. See you. After that, I climbed the stairs and returned to my room. I undressed, took a shower, and changed into something more comfortable. I glanced out the window while drying my hair at the dresser and saw the evening sun beginning to gradually shower the mountain range with its crimson rays. After lightly combing my hair, I descended to the lobby. The grandfather clock had just struck 5 o'clock. I considered going to the kitchen to look for Nanai, but then realized I would probably be getting in the way of her cooking, so I changed my mind. I shifted my eyes to the corner of the lobby, remembering the reading area Nanai and I designed together. Now that I looked at it, I got worried whether a chair would really fit there. Curious about the overall design of the room, I sat down on one of the stools by the wall and began to slowly scrutinize my surroundings. I could hear the grandfather clock creak with each new swing of its pendulum. That old thing must have been a pain to maintain. A jug with a forest plant in it rested on the counter. A black phone slumbered all alone on a stool in the corner. I felt like Nanai had nothing to worry about concerning the lobby coming off as dull. By the time the orange rays of the sun penetrated the stained glass on the door, I started to regret not bringing a book with me. Being left with no other options, I spent some time observing the patches of sunlight as they slowly traveled from the center of the lobby to the camellia, then to the old register on the counter. I suddenly remembered how I met Nanai in Rome. She said she was looking for new furniture. Even this room alone had an expensive-looking glass shelf on the other end of the counter, an old decorative typewriter, and some seemingly antique stools, not to mention all the other things I'd already mentioned. I wondered how much of those Nanai collected by herself. At a closer look, I realized the items all seemed to date back to a wide variety of periods and came from all sorts of regions. However, they were now all a part of the world Nanai created. A place filled with the soothing, nostalgic atmosphere that reminded me of the Western fairy tales I used to read as a child. I figured I should ask her about what her buying standards were. There you go, Jack, right there, buying standards. This brings us back to our convention selling and doujinshi purchasing discussion. A continuous ringing sound shook me awake from my daydream. It appeared to be the phone. It continued to ring as I gazed at it. It didn't seem like Lily or anyone was coming back to pick it up. I stood up and walked in front of the phone. I picked up the receiver. Hello? The voice from the other end of the line sounded kind of nostalgic. I instantly recognized it as Narasaki's. I'm sorry, I made you promise to call, but I ended up forgetting about it. Oh, don't worry about it. I wasn't sure if I'd have time to call anyway. Did you manage to get back alright? Yep, she said. One of her usual snorts followed. Suddenly, I heard the gong of the grandfather clock. Is something wrong? Narasaki asked as the sound startled me. No, the clock just surprised me, that's all. Hearing me say that, Narasaki let out another chuckle. The clock continued to gong. I felt like I could hear it from the other end of the line, too. Did you like flowers, Sachiko? Flowers? Yep, flowers. Well, I suppose I do. Not much more than the average person, though. In that case, maybe you should try growing a garden as a hobby. Why? That sounds pretty random coming from you. Taking care of living things does wonders for relaxation. I was actually, watching a video where a doctor was talking about how like physical activity is good to relieve stress, right? And obviously exercise is a part of that, but they also showed like a picture of people gardening. I kind of wanted to garden more. I don't know much about gardening though. I don't know much about gardening, and there's like too many things in my neighborhood that would attack anything that you try to grow. Like this summer there was a freaking giant Godzilla raccoon on top of my grapevine just eating all the grapes. Like my mom was like screaming because she's like, oh my god, there's something huge in the backyard on top of the grapevine. And then like we had to like go upstairs because we have like a 2-family house. So then we were like looking at it from the upper window, and my mom's like, what is it, what is it? And I'm like, oh, it's just a freaking, you know, I saw the ringtail popping out of like the leaves of the grapevine, I guess. And I'm like, oh, it's just a freaking King Kong raccoon. But it was just like up there, and then we didn't know what to do about it, right? Because we don't know if that thing has rabies, and it's out in like broad daylight, and it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be nocturnal. And we're just like, crap, do we have to get like a freaking one of those remote controlled choppers, whatever they're called, those drones, and like shoot it down like in King Kong movie or whatever? Because my mom has a drone. I don't think we're supposed to have one. I think it's like illegal, but we could. I'm like, bro, we gotta attach something to the drone, have like a whole King Kong scene, save the grapes. It was insane, man. I don't know how we went from relaxation to gardening to raccoons, but I actually do know how we got there. But dang, that's what happened this summer. I'd recommend keeping a pet, but you're allergic to fur, if I remember correctly. I just thought it'd fit you. Really? Well, I'll think about it. How is your schedule looking? When do you think I should drop by your clinic again? Narasaki didn't say anything, so I brought up the subjects myself. However, she didn't answer right away, instead making a long pause. I don't think we'll be able to meet for a while. Why? I got a sudden new job. I'll have to travel a bit for a while. What do you mean, far? Where are you going? And what's going to happen to your clinic? The location isn't clear yet. As for the clinic, I'll be closing it. That's sudden. Sorry, but I'll be busy for a while, Narasaki said after I fell silent. Raccoons? Yeah, man, there's freaking raccoons everywhere. I remember one time, back when I was in uni, right? I would, like, get home at maybe, like, 11 o'clock. It was really late. So anyway, let's just say I got home at 11 o'clock, like 10 to 11. And I'm walking by this one, I guess, like, 3-floor building. Pretty small building. There's a house actually next to the building. So I was walking by the house. And the house has like a really tall fence, because I'm like 6 feet and the fence is taller than me. So we're looking at maybe like a 8 feet tall fence. And there's a freaking raccoon clinging to the fence, but he's on the opposite side. So he's literally facing me. He's like at my face level, but on the other side, so I was like safe. But he sees me passing by him, and he just like hisses at me. He's like, and I'm like, bro, chill, my guy. I just got out of uni. I'm just trying to go home and sleep, my guy. I got no beef with you. But he was like pissed, bro. And I didn't even have no grapes on me or nothing. I'm just like, dude, relax. But yeah, all these raccoons have beef out here. I don't know. It's not safe out here. It's not safe out here, man. There's nothing but gangsters, raccoons, rats, possum. It's not healthy life out here, man. She explained that we would not be meeting for a long while. I was even planning to buy her a present on my way back, but now I felt a little dejected by this sudden turn of events. Hey, these things happen, you know, Narasaki added as I absentmindedly coiled the phone's cord around my finger. You'd be scared? I mean, at the time, I was kind of, like, I guess ignorant, because I didn't know how big a danger rabies were. So I was just like, whatever, raccoon, I ain't scared of you. But now I know how dangerous rabies are, so now I'm just like, yo, I ain't trying to be near no raccoon, man. Dang, I'd be scared. Always need to have some grapes in your pocket along with the sand. For real, for real. Gotta have that pocket sand, bro. If I started but gave up, it's going to be lonely without you, I said. I'll tell you another story. So You know how like rats, usually they just look like giant mice, right? Like they have the same gray color. But one time, I actually, I got out of work back when I used to work in a museum, and I was walking home. And as I walk home, I walk past this, like, I don't want to say it's the woods, because it's not, but this area that's kind of has some trees and a lot of dirt and stuff, whatever. It's kind of out of the way spot, not really any stores or anything nearby. So anyway, I was walking around there, trying to walk home, and there was this giant rat, and he wasn't like the other rats. He didn't have like a long body. He had more of a wide body, like a fat, round body. And he wasn't gray. He was like a brownish color. But he had the rat tail, so you knew he was like part of the rat family. This mofo was just looking at me as I was walking by. He's just looking at me. I'm like, oh, nah. Let me speed it up. And I was out of there, bro. He didn't have no backup, thank God. But I was out of there. Rabies is scary for sure. Yeah, I was reading about rabies. And apparently, like, you know, obviously you could have like a... I don't know, it's a vaccine against rabies, or doctors could try to help you or whatever. But if you get rabies, you're pretty much guaranteed to die. Because what happens is, eventually, your body could no longer keep water down, if I remember correctly. So you can't swallow water, so you basically just dehydrate and die. Sounds like an awful way to go. So anyway, long story short, watch out for animals, dude. You can always call Nanai or Lily if you need company. I suppose so. Calling Nanai from time to time did sound like a pretty good idea. But I also felt like Narasaki's departure would leave a gaping hole in my life. If you still feel lonely, just blame it on the season. It's all too easy to get caught up in a melancholy mood when it's cold and silent outside. Your apartment has a balcony, right? Try growing primroses. They're strikingly colorful things that actually bloom in winter. I'll give that a try if I feel like it. Good. Well then, I'll be hanging up. There's still something I need to take care of. I see. What's wrong? Is there still something you want to tell me? Stay indoors, outside is bad news. Man, outside is bad news. You know what happened? You guys are reminding me of stories today. So I just went, right? Like right now after I finished my Genshin stream. You guys know I was going outside. I went to the bakery. I did like a few groceries. As I'm coming home, there's this guy walking by my house. And he's screaming. He's like, ah, ah, ah. And he's making some other noises like, yow! Yow! And I'm just like, dude, what is with this guy, my dude? So anyway, I was just like, I took out my keys ahead of time. That way, as soon as I reached my door, I could just go in. And I was like power walking. I'm like, oh, nah. Let me get away from this guy. Because I don't know about him. He was walking with 2 grocery bags. He had stopped for a bit to like catch his breath. He put the grocery bags down, picked them up again. So part of me was like, he must be pretty normal if he could go independently, buy groceries, pick out groceries. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's like taking care of himself. So he must be like somewhat okay in the head. But then he's also making all these crazy sounds. So I'm like, well, he doesn't seem completely okay in the head. So I don't know. It was just, then my parents, when I come through the door, they're like, was that you screaming outside? And I'm like, no, that wasn't me screaming. I don't know what was up with that guy, but that was just bizarre, man. So yeah, you just can't go anywhere. I was already prepared to hear her say goodbye, but she didn't end the conversation just yet. What makes you think that? I pulled my finger away from the cord, letting it stretch back to its normal length. Whenever you left your grandparents' house in the country, you'd always keep waving at them from the rear window of the car until they were completely out of sight. That's the kind of child you were. I'm not a child anymore. You really think so? Narasaki said. I'm hanging up. Okay. See you. See you. I pulled the receiver away from my ear and placed it on the phone. I heaved a deep breath as I let go of it and stole a glance at the clock. Its minute arrow was pointing at the number 2. That wasn't a very long conversation. The pieces of the stained glass on the door glowed in navy blue. As I considered going back to my room to wait for dinner, I suddenly felt kind of tired and didn't want to climb the staircase. I sat down on the same stool as before and waited for my sudden exhaustion to pass. I glanced at the phone, but remembering Narasaki's last words, quickly looked away. Placing my elbows on my knees, I rested my forehead on my palms. I closed my eyes, listening to the pendulum swing back and forth. What's going on? This is a long black screen. Okay, here we are. I opened my eyes to see the already familiar canopy above the bed. I promptly sat up and slid out from under the sheets as I always did. Then I got changed and headed off to breakfast. As I reached the cafeteria, I found Anaya with my breakfast at the usual table. I greeted her and we began eating together. What's going on, David? How you doing today, bud? The meal consisted of bread rolls, scrambled eggs, spaghetti, spinach salad, sausages, and a handful of cherry tomatoes. This looks even more extravagant than usual. It's your last breakfast here, so I felt like putting in a bit of extra effort. Bro, Jack. Last breakfast? That means this is Sachiko's last day to respond to Nanai's feelings, her confession from like 2 chapters ago. You can leave some if it's too much. The rolled bread had soft ham and crispy cheese inside. After finishing the bread, I scooped up a mouthful of spaghetti with my fork. This is pretty nostalgic. I remembered having something similar back in school, though it wasn't this good. Right? I liked them so much I ended up looking up the recipe. Those noodles look kind of unusual. Do they even sell those in a supermarket? Final breakfast, the last supper. They're called soft noodles. You can get them directly from the manufacturers if you order a large amount. I see. Apparently they're specially made for school lunches. They don't get as mushy as normal ones and are supposedly better for digestion. What did I miss? I mean, you missed like an entire Genshin stream earlier today that was like 4 hours. And as far as this goes, you missed us talking to Kozue. We were chilling at a lake, reminiscing about the past with Takako. And then I told a lot of IRL stories about King Kong raccoons and crazy people outside my house and I don't know, we talked about doujinshi conventions. Yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff. Had to work, I guess. I hear you, don't we all? But what's going on, David? How was your week? What were some of the highlights of your week? Yeah, I remember how easily they tear just from a gentle touch of your chopsticks. Exactly, Nanai nodded. I realized this after looking it up, but apparently Japanese school lunches after the war mostly used bread imported from America. The noodle industry eventually caught wind of it and decided to increase the variety of food available in schools, developing these noodles as a result. They're especially rich in the B1 and B2 vitamins that children desperately needed back in those days. Fun fact, guys. Vitamin B1, thiamine or thiamine, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but one of those pronunciations is actually extremely efficient at relaxing you if you're heavily stressed. So anyway, I've been taking something called nutritional yeast tablets. You could look them up. You could get them, I guess, on Amazon or anywhere else. You could get a non-GMO version, gluten-free versions. But it's actually loaded with vitamin B1 and also vitamin B2 riboflavin, along with other minerals. So yeah, dry yeast and vitamin B1 and B2. Very good at relaxing you if you need more relaxation in your life. It all started in Tokyo before gradually spreading all across the country. I would never have guessed that these spaghetti had such a rich history. So I ended up in a jury this week. Tell me more about that. I've never been in a jury. I almost got selected to be in a jury for a criminal case, I think involving a homicide. But at the time, I was about to have training for a new job. So I managed to get out of being in the jury since I was starting a new job. Hola, ¿cómo estás, Miku? We spent the rest of our lunch discussing the kinds of food we used to eat at school. Apparently, Nanai was a big fan of mackerel miso soup. When I mentioned I liked to make sushi rolls, she taught me a few tricks to make the process easier and the results neater. It's for school? Wait, you're in a school jury? Tell me about it anyway, I want to know. What's that like? I spent the afternoon in the mansion like I always did. After packing my bags, I made it down to the lobby. Nanai promised she'd meet me with her car, but I arrived a bit earlier than the agreed upon time. I was in a jury for a debate. Tell me more about this debate. What was the debate topic? I placed my bags under the counter and lingered in the lobby for a while. I was thinking about sitting down on the stool when the black phone entered my vision. It didn't seem like it would be ringing again anytime soon. Is something wrong? Did my phone offend you in some way? And I appeared in the doorway behind the counter. Checking the clock, I realized it was about time for my departure. No, it's nothing. I see. Well, let's be on our way, I guess. Right. Can't write today, it's worse than usual? Oh, dang. Don't worry, I can understand what you're saying. Keep going, don't hold back. How did you like it here? Nanai asked as we rattled down the same road I ascended on my first day here. Matter of fact, before I forget, let me take a moment and message Azure in my Discord, because I got a question for her. Oh, I see the cinnamon rolls. What did you put on it, though? What are those white chunks, Jack? Because it almost... Whenever I see white chunks like that, I think of, like, big pieces of salt, but... There's no way you would put salt on a cinnamon roll, I don't think. So are they big chunks of sugar? I don't know. It looks interesting. The cinnamon looks really tasty. This makes me both hungry and it makes me want a tall glass of milk. I will give this 1 heart emote and 1 orgasm emote, because not gonna lie, it turns me on just a little bit. Good food and good desserts will always turn me on, sorry to say. I'm a food pervert. Alright, I'm gonna ask Azure. I'm gonna say I heard Samitas are bussin'. Are there any specific ingredients you recommend for the best Samita at Azure? So apparently a Samita is like, I guess like a Mexican sandwich with like a little sort of bun bread. And I heard that they're really good, but I don't know what varieties there are, so I figured let me ask Azure. She's the expert. What's going on, Diva Rain? Sugar, of course. I've never seen sugar look like that. I mean, unless it's confectioner sugar, but I don't know. It looks so much like salt or even like snow. But it is quite beautiful. It was 2 topics. Semifinals was if horse jumping, don't know the translation, should be banned as a tournament. Some sort of horse tournament? I don't know. That's interesting. Nice timing. Yuri's story become my bedtime story? Dang. I had a great time. It's been so long since I felt so relaxed. I'm almost looking forward to going back to work the day after tomorrow. It's nib sugar? That's a specific type of sugar? Let me look that up. I don't think I've seen or used that before. Nib sugar, aka refined white sugar, which is also, I guess, pearl sugar they call it. Yeah, they call it pearl sugar as well. Okay. I've never seen that ingredient. That's pretty interesting. I will say this though, if my family saw those, they would stay the hell away because they have diabetes and they are finally making an effort to stay away from sugar. So that would give them a panic attack. But for me, it's fine. I'm like, oh yeah, by all means. Finals was if a lesson type called practical knowledge should be added to school. Actually sounds good. Practical knowledge that's knowledge is actually useful. So yeah, it should be added to school. What's going on, Click? Glad to hear it. The car rattled as it was passed over a big hole on the road, making the night grow silent. I caught a glimpse of the sea beyond the trees around us. Feel free to drop by for another visit if you're ever in the mood. Oh, definitely. If they knew what's in these, they'd better stay away. Oh god, what's in them? Tell me, Jack. Reveal the dark secrets of your cinnamon rolls. Nanai told me she still had some unfinished work to attend to as we parted ways at the station. After waiting a minute or so for me to go inside, she drove away. I found a small shop inside the station. I wonder what kind of shop this is. I briefly inspected its lineup. It had some snacks, newspapers, and a souvenir corner. Key holders, wood carvings, and glass sculptures lined the long shelf. I found a familiar writing utensil among the lineup, clips with cute bears on them. I felt like I had too few to put them to any real use, so I considered buying a bit more here. 50% sugar? Jesus Christ. Why? Are you not one of those people that like sees a recipe and then cuts back? Because usually whenever I see a recipe, I'll only use like half the amount of sugar that they recommend. Made some more toast? Bro, you had like a whole loaf of bread today. We need 15k more teachers where I live. Big teacher shortage. How do you need 15,000 teachers? What country do you live in again? Maybe I should move to your country and teach there instead of here. We cold, half teachers sick all the time. Half of your teachers call out sick all the time. Now why shouldn't they? I see a recipe, you said you treat them terribly. I see a recipe and go, let's add 50% to that and it'll taste better. So you're the opposite of me. I take out half, you add half more. Jesus Christ. See, but the thing is, you don't need to do that with the cinnamon rolls because the cinnamon carries it for the flavor. Plus, if you give it like a light glaze, that also carries it. So you don't need to add more sugar. I never told ya? I don't think you told me. If you did, remind me. Which country are you from, David? Let's see. Is it a country where I should teach someday? All you mentioned is that you were in Europe. I know at one point you said you were a delivery boy. That's about it. Yes, they do. Tell us, please. And it does? No. Broken heart. That's what you think, and that's why I have the best cinnamon rolls. You know what, Jack? I don't know, my guy. I don't know. One day, if we ever meet IRL, I'm gonna have to challenge you to a Shokugeki no Soma, a food war, to see who could make the best cinnamon rolls. You're throwing down the gauntlet now. But as I wondered if it was really necessary, I grew worried about the time. I checked the clock inside the station and realized it was about time for my train. In the end, I bought 2 packs of clippings, thinking I might as well give the extra ones to my workmates as presents. Jack know how to make his cinnamon rolls. I mean, they're very beautiful, but now that he tells me how much sugar is in them, I don't know, man. Now I've got some skepticism. Then I bought a few more things I thought they might like. I bought the ticket at the booth the night told me about. And as soon as I stepped onto the platform, the train arrived. I will not tell you, I'm throwing hints left and right. Plus, you saw the language of my Left 4 Dead 2 stream. I actually don't remember what the language was. Yeah, he's win. The train car rocked back and forth. I let out a sigh, then inhaled a breath, realizing that the air here smelled a lot like the way it does back home in the countryside. A complex mix of steel trees, the sea, old buildings, and incense. The scent waned with each station we passed. Instead, the towns began to grow bigger and bigger. After the next station, we emerged next to a highway along the sea. I watched the sun set along the sea, illuminating the train car in its orange glow. It sank deeper and deeper into the western horizon. I closed my eyes, turning my face to the center of the light. I imagined a world where the sun rose from the west. Takako was sleeping there on the other side. The faint sun rays would soon fall on her closed eyelids, gently waking her. She would then do her usual routine of radio exercises and head to work. That silly train of thought was enough to make me feel like I would be okay. Opening my eyes, I saw the entire train car painted in orange. It felt almost like I was in a pleasantly warm bath. I truly managed to put my vacation time to good use this time. The hallucinations and ear-ringing that had been plaguing me for quite a while seemed to have completely disappeared over the past few days. I felt like I could return to work in tip-top shape, but I also wasn't planning to take on as much as I used to near the end of the year. I shoved my right hand into the pocket of my jacket to confirm my ticket when my fingers touched something cold and hard inside. I took it out and realized it was the penguin toy Kozue gave me as a present. I'm gonna cry, Jack. Kozue. It shone dully in the orange light, its silly face looking somewhat sad. I felt a tear roll down my cheek. Wondering if a stray sunray reflected on some nearby surface had hurt my eye, I slightly rubbed it. When I did, another tear spilled forth from it. I paused for a moment, unable to understand what was causing this. No other tears followed, with the second one remaining moist on my cheek. The exact same scenery I'd observed on my way here drifted along on the other end of the window, but I felt like I myself was now somehow different. Something didn't add up. It was like I left something behind in that mansion. I could recall someone telling me I had nothing to worry about anymore, but I couldn't remember who it was or when it happened. One direct hint, our miniator of defense changed this week. Alright, let me Google that. Okay, it looks like Germany. 4 days ago, Germany appointed a new defense minister. Boris Pistorius. And they're sending Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. David, what time zone are you in? EU. EU is like several time zones. Oof, I think I know the answer then. Yeah, of course, but what time is it? Sounds rough there. Kinda. It's rough in Germany? Is it? We are not? We are not what, sending tanks? Fake news, huh? Well, that's interesting. Why is there so much fake news? And I had a feeling I'd never be able to. I touched the trail left by the teardrop on my cheek, feeling a pain in my heart every time the train car swayed. Yeah, immigrants plus the greens kind of burning down. Wait, what? The greens are burning down? Why? How? What the heck? I feel like a lot of countries are having immigrant problems. It was like something important was being peeled away from it, little by little. However, I had no way of escaping the moving train. All I could do was sit here, waiting for it to reach its final destination. I think the problem is that everybody feels like they need to go somewhere better. But really, I don't think anywhere is better. Like, I know some places are worse than others, so it might make more sense to move, but at the end of the day, there's gonna be problems no matter where you go, man. Can't escape. Bleeding again? Alright. Well, just don't go on a whole rant about it, because you're gonna scare chat, bro. Gonna make Mr. and Azure uncomfortable Everyone's gonna block you just like Azure. Be careful, man. Beautiful country, though. Been there many times. Yeah, Jack is saying Germany is a beautiful country. I want to go myself, but I don't know, man. Things aren't looking too good for travel, what with the world being in the shape that it's in, and with my budget being in the shape that it's in. However, I had no way of escaping the moving train. All I could do was sit here, waiting for it to reach its final destination. I felt like I heard a faint voice in the corner of my mind, but I couldn't make it out. A deep darkness enveloped everything. Alright, since we're entering a new scene, I'm going to take a short break because I'm going to do two things. I'm going to start boiling some tea, and I'm also going to take some chicken nuggets out of the freezer. Oh, we're in chapter 10 now. Very cool. So I'm going to change my title to chapters 9 and 10. But let me go start boiling some tea. BRB, guys. Alright, in 3 minutes I gotta go get my tea. Let me catch up with chat in the meantime and also change the stream title. Oh man, you guys have been talking a lot. I like that you guys are chatting with each other. So we have called the people we vote by callers, meaning the Greens are for the environment. They kinda don't know how to do their job, especially the South. You mean Bayern, NRW, etc., right? Yeah, that area is nice. I live there. Lots of pretty villages and castles and good nature. I'm not so much into big cities. Wait, so you're saying southern Germany is nice? Huh. Recommend me some cities in the Discord or even here in chat, Jack. That way if I ever go, I know where to go. I'm blocking you, David? Wait, what? Why? That's what Click said. I know, I hate the cities too. K Click. Wait, K Click? What tea do you drink? I drink several. I'll type them in chat. The one that I'm making right now is the second one. I don't know how to pronounce it right, which is why I typed it. I think it's pronounced Rude Boy, I don't know. But yeah, jasmine green tea, Rude Boy, Earl Grey, and chamomile tea are my 4 favorites. Green tea especially is good for apparently reducing, I believe, cortisol, which is the chemical in your body that causes or plays a part in stress. Very relaxing tea, and has a lot of, I forgot what they're called, but some sort of nutrient that is extremely OP. David would have better recommendations for sure. It depends. Listen. David lives there, but you're like the actual traveler and tourist, so you have that unique traveler tourist perspective. So feel free to share. Castle, okay, I'll take a note of that. Nico, no? Why are they saying Nico, no? Nico, C. I gotta write that down. Places to visit in Germany. Alright, let me go get that tea. I'll be right back, guys. Yo, what's going on? My head hurts. I'm about to go grab tea, but I'll be right back, bud. How you doing today? We're on chapter 10 of this Yuri visual novel. My head hurts is a new friend that we made earlier during Genshin, everybody. Treat them nice. Alright, now I need to wait for my tea to cool down. Not because it's too hot. It is probably a bit hot. But also because I want to put some honey in it. And they said that you should put honey only in room temperature drinks. That way it keeps all of its nutrients that you're trying to get from it. And you also only want to have like raw, unfiltered honey. So yeah. A lot of rules to getting the most out of honey. Trust me, I kind of explore here too, and Hamburger Hafen is good too. Welcome, my head hurts. If you'd like to join this... Jesus. If you like ships, can't forget that. Nico, Genshin, PS4, Eliminar, no. Head, Ola. I don't know what that means. PS4, Eliminar, no. I'm not on PS4 right now. It's funny that Click blocked me for correcting him. Yeah, Click is a boy. Click is a him. Then use some cooldown reduction equipment. What? Bro. It's okay, I can wait. I have patience. I'm a guy. Yep. I return to the... Oh, wait. Let me... Before I start reading again, let me freaking switch the title. Switch the title. Chapter 9 and 10. Alright, now we're good to go. Also, thank you to everyone who's liked the stream so far. See, we got 5 likes. Arigatou gozaimasu. So he didn't? No. I returned to the night duty room after my conversation with Narasaki. I picked up our teacups and pot from the table and carried them to the kitchen. I spilled what little tea was left on the bottom of the pot into the sink and realized I was out of boiled water to make more. I pulled the kettle off one of the shelves, filled it with water, and put it on the stove. I mulled over my conversation with Narasaki while waiting for the water to boil. The conversation hardly took an hour, but I'd learned a lot. My head was still spinning, having received all this information about diaries and illnesses and whatnot. Now that I thought about it, I should have used that chance to ask Narasaki more questions. For example, she said she had met me before in the past. I forgot to even ask when that happened. Besides, while Narasaki seemed amiable and answered more or less everything I asked, I felt there was still something off about how she phrased certain things. I wondered if she really didn't know Sachiko like she tried to imply. She didn't seem at all surprised or even curious when I told her Sachiko was the most important person in my life, almost as though she knew about our relationship. The hiss of the kettle brought me back to reality. I poured the boiling water into the pot filled with old tea leaves. You predict I'll finish it tonight? I think I can only stream for about another hour and a half. So we'll see if I finish tonight, because Saru is going to be streaming on Twitch later. And he's going to be doing an unboxing of some brand new One Piece cards that came out. And he's going to try to pad for time until I get there, so I kind of don't want to make him pad for time too long. So yeah, I'm going to, try to go for another hour or so, and then got to see what he's doing. So we'll see how far we get. Genshin UID, no. Nico, Eliminar. I don't know what's going on with Miku. I already added them, so I don't know what they're talking about. I'm gonna have to Google translate their message at this point, because they keep using the word Eliminar and I don't know what they're trying to say or if it even sounds good. Genshin UID, no. Nico, delete. What? Nico, remove. Why is he speaking Spanish? Or at least I think it's Spanish. Well, they are from Mexico, so they only speak Spanish. It's not a he. They claim to be a woman, but they said their IRL name a few times, like their full name, which is already a point of suspicion. And then I saw a different name on their Genshin account. So, I don't know. This person says a lot of things that are just becoming more and more unusual. I guess you're getting canceled for not streaming Genshin? I don't know, but this person, they keep asking people their age, they keep asking people their gender. Now they're sending me angry faces with the word Eliminar. To be honest, I'm very close to just blocking them, because I'm not getting the most chill vibes. I don't know, they're seeming less and less wholesome with every interaction. But I want to give them just a little more time to see if they come back to Wholesome Town. I filled my teacup with the freshly made tea and took a sip, feeling my head clear up. I grabbed one of the monaka that Narasaki brought me and returned to the living room, sitting down on the cushion by the table. A bunch of keys Narasaki handed me lay in the middle of the table. Sort of don't give a F about others that I speak to for the first time. Where did that come from? They were all connected by a silver ring. Some of the keys had small green hexagonal key holders attached to them. Being all the same, they reminded me of the keys used in hotels. They were different from the key holders Mayuko used. I picked one key holder up to realize it was a bit heavier than I had thought. It sparkled slightly, reflecting the light as I turned it in my palm. I suddenly spotted a number on it. Nah, if you think you should block them, just do it. Nico C. Gracias, Genshin. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they are obsessed with Genshin and are pissed that we're not streaming Genshin. I feel like typing back EAD. Azure, do you want to see what's wrong with your friend Miku Emi before I block them? Because they seem to be getting into an agitated state just because there's no Genshin, and I ain't having it. Azure has arrived. Yeah, Azure knows Spanish, so Azure is the great mediator. I also don't know if Azure answered my question about Samitas yet. Oh, my head hurts. Join the Discord. Thanks for joining the Discord. My head hurts. Also, you got the same PFP as Marco. Are you Marco? Are you like Marco's alt? I have a friend in the Discord named Marco95, and he's got the same PFP. So kinda suspicious. What region did you say you play Genshin in? My head hurts. I could give you the role. I'm starting to think it's Europe, because I'm starting to think you're Marco. Azure has arrived. No Nico, 12 AM, no Genshin chat? What? Wait, what is Miko doing? Well, you know, they've been saying I love you to everyone. They always ask for people's age and gender, which is against TOS. And now they keep saying Nico Eliminar, and I have no clue what that means. But it doesn't sound like friendly banter. No, everyone likes to answer random questions, especially if you don't give any license or degree after answering all questions. What? I don't know what that means. I like answering random questions, but I don't know where that came from. Azure, please unblock me. I'm late again. That's okay, Mister. We're still here, buddy. Azure, okay? It's a PFP that Discord gives you when you log on. Really? Oh, okay. But what region did you play Genshin in anyway? Because I gotta give you the role. And like Click said, if you see any roles in the roles channel that you want, ping me in general chat to let me know. There's like anime night roles and various other... Oh yeah, you said you only watch Genshin. Feels bad. I remember you said you played a Minecraft, you play Rec Room, and you play one other game that I haven't experimented with. I tried checking which room keys I had and eventually found one to Kozue's old room. No set. You can choose between like 9. Oh, okay. I placed the keys back on the table. I remembered how I saw Sachiko in that room. I tried to get back to that room multiple times, but it was always locked. I didn't realize it until now, but the tea I drank seemed more bitter than usual. I now had the chance to check that room before returning the keys to Mayuko. For some reason, I felt like it wasn't complete coincidence that they ended up in my possession. FIFA? There you go, that's the third game. Discord stopped giving the random color logo PFP, and now they give the monster things. Yeah, that's what I remember. They would give the random color logos that almost looked like a game controller, right? And now I guess they're giving Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends instead. Hi, I came for anime mommies. It's a fair reason to come, Onion. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Oh yeah, Onion, by the way, I was looking at Nightbot statistics, and as of today, you are the number 2 chatter in terms of most chat messages. Congratulations. Should I get Genshin? If I do, I'd play on Europe. I do think you should play Genshin. You would be able to add me and play with me and everyone else. I think since you enjoy watching it, I believe you would also enjoy playing it. I feel it would be a fine investment of your time. I'm still writing the sonnet, so I'm hoping this helps me find inspiration or something. But this isn't Genshin. But I hope you find inspiration nonetheless. Niku, ¿puedes dejar de decir te quiero a todo el mundo y preguntar por su edad? Hi, Onion. Oh, by the way, started to teach my mom how to play Minecraft. Oh, that sounds interesting. Is she enjoying it? Yes, you should. Hi. Porfis? Congrats the second. Now, where is the giveaway? Wait, what? Oh, congrats on our friend Onion being the number 2 most frequent chatter. Yeah, Click was number 1. Onion was number 2. Mr. was number 3. I think Azure was number 5. Ryan was number 4. I bet I can beat that record in one day. Challenge accepted. Say no to gacha games. No giveaway. Do I actually talk that much? I need words or something so help. I talk more, I hope. Tried coming up with an explanation, but ultimately failed. I kind of want to sing or be an artist when I'm older, bro. So Click is the top chatter. Good job. I mean, good luck being an artist. There's a lot of artist competition out there. And now there's AI stealing jobs from artists. It's a cold, cruel world for art. Matter of fact, have you posted art in the Discord, Onion? Oh yeah, you're not in the Discord, right? You said your family was against Discord or something? You gotta make a Discord, share some art in it. Anyway, I just came back from Wingstop. Oh my god. Didn't you say you went there the other day? Are you like becoming a Wingstop addict? She kinda does enjoy it, but doesn't know how to play that well. I need spam to get most messages. Oh dang. Wait, beat what record, David? David wants to be top chatter. However, I couldn't figure out exactly what I was supposed to ask her. I was the only one who knew what happened there. Narasaki might have understood something I didn't, had I told her everything. On the other hand, she might have just deemed me crazy and locked me up or something. Besides, based on our previous conversation, it was already evident that she was trying to avoid discussing Sachiko with me. There were no guarantees she'd tell me anything, even if she knew. I gulped down the remainder of my drink and picked up the keys. I removed the one with Kozue's old room number on it, then shoved it into my pocket. It was entirely possible that nothing would happen, even if I went there. However, I couldn't help but feel like there was something important in that room. I made sure to slide a flashlight into my back pocket before leaving the night duty room. No, I didn't go the other day. Well, somebody said they went to Wingstop recently. Like, maybe on Monday. Oh, wait, I just heard most frequent. No. Did you drink? I don't know how old you are, but I don't believe you're 16 plus. Wait, who are you asking? Me or somebody else? Azure? You're asking Azure? Azure is not 16 plus. What the F? Dead? Wait, why is Mr. dead? What? Wait, your family forbid you from Discord? My parents and families even doesn't know what Discord is. Dang. You said you was full as in drunk? No, full as in like from the wings that she ate. How did you come to that conclusion? Yeah, right? Oh, what? No, why would I drink? Stupid. I'm saying I'm full from eating. You said you were full. Paimon is emergency food. Okay, what? Welcome to the Genshin side of chat, Jack. I ain't 16 plus and drunk already. What? I ran into Sanai near a spiral staircase in the lobby. I was looking for you, says Sanai as she approached me. She told me she was just on her way to the night duty room after finding my room empty. What's up? I'm not working today. You told me you wanted to recommend you some books? I glanced at the cover of the book she was holding. It had an illustration depicting a sci-fi cityscape with a semi-futuristic look. I thought she was gonna recommend her like some freaking Yuri novel or something. Jesus. Some forbidden tome. I remember seeing Sanai read that book before. I saw you reading that. It's a mystery novel with lots of action elements. I think you'd enjoy it. The mystery itself is pretty good too, she added. That sounds fun, but I'm a bit busy right now. I'll swing by your room to pick it up later, okay? Fine by me. Sanai nodded and returned to her room. I'm 16, but I act like I'm 10 to 12. Wait, Onion, you're 16? I genuinely thought you were like 12 to 13. Sorry. Yeah, same. Onion said that she's 16 like twice, I think, already. So, funny story. I'm sitting next to... What? I don't know if we need to know this story. Jesus. I continued down the corridor in the opposite direction, slowing my steps so Sanai wouldn't see me stop in front of the locked room. I waited for her to turn a corner. Oh well, it's okay. I took a glance over my shoulder. Sanai was nowhere to be seen. I quickly surveyed the rest of my surroundings, making absolutely sure there wasn't anyone on the opposite end of the corridor either. I then took the key out of my pocket and stuck it into the lock. On second thought, I didn't necessarily have to hide this from Sanai. She wouldn't tell Mayako about it if I asked her to keep it a secret. Besides, all she would have likely done was warn me to be careful. I doubted she would have tried to stop me. Still, I didn't want to force her to lie for me, so perhaps this was for the best. I turned the key with a click and the lock opened. The handle no longer resisted me. I considered what I would do if I ended up being unable to return. I remembered promising Mayako to tell her before going somewhere, but that was already after I entered the room and closed the door behind me. LOL, it's okay. Sigh, I miss being the top chatter, but it doesn't matter anymore. I'm just here to hang out, that's about it. Dang. You've lost your pride. What's going on, Foa? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Are you a fan of Yuri? Or are you a fan of Genshin? Because this community does a lot of both, so I figure I should ask right away. It's okay, Azure. Found out this week. ATP, I'm kind of here to make friends. Wait, what's ATP? You mean ATM at the moment? At this point? ATP at this point? Don't worry, mister. In the famous words of Woody from Toy Story, you've got a friend in me. Hi, Foa. Wait, you was top chatter? Yeah, Azure used to be top chatter back when she loved me, but you know, people's feelings change. I'm new, but I'm second chatter. Expensive. I don't know. Okay, you're so quiet now. So there was nothing but a bed and an empty shelf in the room. But like just like the day I went to look for that thing Kozue lost. I'm always gonna be top chatter. The place even felt kind of nostalgic. Now that I thought about it, I never even learned what I was looking for in here. The evening light filtered in through the window, preventing the room from being as dark as last time. I wondered if I should have opened the window, but since I didn't come here to clean or do anything of the sort, I figured I'd leave it alone for now. I walked to the center of the room, then spun around. The place looked like a normal room. There were no caves or any other trippy imagery I witnessed last time. I want to see women with big watermelons. I mean, maybe soon. Aw, I know. Azure makes me blush. That's why you wanted him to strip? Oh yeah, you remember that, right? She told me to take off my hoodie and get some soap bubbles going. That's pretty freaky. Yeah, Azure told me to strip earlier during the Genshin stream. You missed it, Onion. When I leaned against the shelf, my hand ended up covered in dust. I pulled my hand back, realizing I'd left a handprint. I considered sleeping on the bed, but that was probably a bad idea. After placing my hand back in the same spot, I closed my eyes. And with that, I remembered everything that happened here last time. A tiny sliver of light surrounded by a boundless darkness. When I moved closer to it, I saw Sachiko's back. She was sitting on a stone facing away from me. You know what? My head hurts. Before I forget, since you said Europe, let me give you the Genshin Europe role in the Discord. That way, if you ever do start Genshin, you could find the Europe channel and find other players besides just myself within the region. Click is one of them. I see my friend Mr. Mister is doing a scan. I mean, they do usually take a long time, Mister. Just be patient. That was Mister? No, it wasn't. I kind of just miss a lot of streams because being busy or just needing to learn for school. I mean, listen, David. I appreciate you being here for whatever streams you have time to attend and the fact that you chat with us and we get to learn more about you and all that. So, arigato gozaimasu. And trust me, I understand that sometimes you're busy because I work 11 hours a day, 5 days a week. So I'm the epitome of busy. I support it. Wait, what do you support, Mr. Azure? You're dirty in the mind. She really is. Yes, it was me, of course. The block button looked real tempting. My head hurts. He still got a belly dance for me. I make tea too. I wait for cooldown. Now, what I do is use some support cooldown reduction skills. Tell me more. Tell me more, Diva Rain. Could it be that my messages are delayed? Who are you trying to block now? They're trying to block my head hurts. I agree, Azure. It looks really good. The scan finished, I think. Bye. LOL. Nope. Anyway, your mom is sore. What? You rope Cabo Kanaeru. Thanks, sir. Now I can't think Europe normally. What? Dang. When I tried speaking to her, she noticed my voice and slightly turned around, and that was where it ended. I replayed it in my mind countless times, so I was absolutely certain. When I opened my eyes, the room had been swallowed by darkness. Surprised, I took a step back, hitting the shelf behind me with my buttocks. The flashlight I brought with me slid out of my pocket and fell to the ground. I instantly turned around to pick it up, but couldn't see anything in the blinding dark. The sudden turn of events left me a little dizzy. Realizing I wouldn't be able to rely on my eyes anymore, I tried to ascertain my surroundings using my other senses. The scents and sounds I detected told me I was back in that place. I feel like my throat is getting dry, so while I wait for my tea to cool, let me have some water instead. Azure says that she blocked both of Click's accounts, XYZ, and now my head hurts. He says, I've been here for 4 hours and already blocked. Belly dance, gotta go. Looking forward to seeing you again in 15 minutes, Click. Can we see your legs, GU? You can see my legs for 80,000 channel points. 80,000 channel points when you get there. I tried grasping around for the flashlight, but I had no idea where it fell anymore. I could no longer even find that shelf I hit earlier. Azure, just stop. Onion, if GU doesn't, you're doing it. Wait, what? Wait, what do you want Onion to do? Oh, belly? Do you want her to belly dance? Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Stop what? In fact, I didn't even hear the sound of a flashlight hitting the floor. Perhaps I had left it on the other side. Surrounded by the hollow darkness, I let out a sigh. Get to FUB or R34 to see legs? What? If you screenshot the chat, the description of it is gay, lost in mind. What? Hola, lo siento, nada. What? Points? Already been blocked and blocked someone? Mr. has 13,000 points. Click got a good 6,000 points earlier just from commenting on prior YouTube shorts. I swiftly calmed myself, focusing instead on what I was to do next. I came here to find Sachiko. I wanted to know what the present Sachiko, whom I still couldn't completely remember, was doing and where she was. I heard the word belly dance. Yeah, Onion is gonna belly dance for us and post it on the Discord. I slowly took another look around. This definitely wasn't the best of situations, but for some reason I didn't panic. Oddly enough, this darkness felt more nostalgic than intimidating. Nico, no Genshin PS4, UID, no solo. I already added Miku on Genshin Azure. Can you tell them they already added me? I don't understand. I'm pretty sure they already added me. Under the name Chris something it said. I mean, that was the online UID, and then the other nickname was something else. I don't know what. I'm pretty sure they already added me. And if they didn't add me, then they could join the Discord and get my UID from Discord. Points. David's got 1,200. I mean, you know, you could always comment on YouTube videos of mine and you'll get bonus points. My legs are hairy. Wait, what? You're a girl. What are you talking about? Okay, I'm here again. Just have to take out the trash. She doesn't have Discord? Are you sure? Because somebody joined the Discord, and I have a feeling it was them. It was somebody during the week who just slid in, and I'm like, wait a minute. They were about to, like, worship Click. They were like, oh my god, you're Click from the Nico Giu streams. I'm sure Click remembers. And then I was like, is this that one person, that one Miku Emumi person? But they never told me who they were. I tried to ping them and ask them who they were, but they never told me. But I'm going to scroll up and look for their name in the Discord, see who it was that joined recently. There's just too much. I don't think I'll find them. There's too much in the Discord. Too much people, like, saying stuff. So I'll never figure it out. Maybe if I use the YouTube and I use the search bar. Yeah, their name was Gender Bent Miko. I assumed that was Miku Emi. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know who Gender Bent Miko is. Can I express my emotion here? You may express your emotions here, yes. And if you ever need life advice, I am willing to do my best. Head? Yeah, what's wrong? I will draw Nico and make him belly dance. I mean, gotta post it in the Discord though. Azure, Genial, Genshin, see or no. I'm beating Saru soon. Yes, I remember. No Genshin, Ora. I don't watch enough YouTube to get a lot. That's okay. But it was not her, I think. Azure, gracias. Miku tienes Discord. We're about to find out. Nico si bien nada hola. What? It reminded me of the sound of fast-moving subway trains. Additionally, the cool and musty smell reminded me of the floor of my old apartment. When I was little, I used to dig deep down into the sandbox to find the driest and smoothest sand to use as topping for my sand pancakes. I draw perfect eyes on the wrong sketch layer. That happens a lot, man. Discord? Oh no, Discord. Imagine if someone posts on YouTube of them belly dancing. I mean, why wouldn't you? I would give it a thumbs up. I would sub. I'd sub, bro. Fuck yeah, I'd sub to that. Fuck yeah. What are you all doing besides watching this stream? Probably watching hentai on the side. Lo siento. How many points does Onion have? That's a good question. I think Onion has a good amount. Onion has only 2450. That's not bad. That's not bad for a relatively new viewer. How do y'all do that with the F? A few times I managed to find sand that had turned light green. I still had no idea what it was supposed to be. In any case, I stored my greenish pancakes in an empty water tank I found in a warehouse. It was always dry and cold inside, so it was perfect for storage. Nico, lo siento, genial Genshin mañana, sí o no? What does genial mean? I'm doing homework and trying to fix my Genshin. The few times I left my pancakes under the stairs of my apartment, I found them cracked, looking as though a cat or dog had stepped on them. I got half of that. I've been here for some time. Those I stored in the tank. They probably survived until I moved. Yo, it's Azure. I mean, who else are you supposed to be? For some reason, I couldn't remember that clearly. I only remembered how I stored them in the tank. I checked to see if my limbs were still numb, then decided to move forward. Much like last time, the ground at my feet had a hard, rocky texture to it. Careful not to trip, I slowly continued forward. The distorted echoes of my footsteps reverberated across the darkness. I continued walking for a while, but hit no walls or any other barriers. This was definitely not the inside of that room anymore. I was back. I blinked, but it didn't help. With or without my eyes closed, everything still remained the same. Perhaps this whole thing was just in my head, and my eyes had nothing to do with it. There was something off with my footsteps, so I paused for a bit. My last footstep reverberated across this area. A sound grew gradually quieter until it eventually disappeared. But the sound of my next footstep reached me from behind. I turned around, but I still couldn't see anything. Nonetheless, I could hear rhythmic footsteps approaching me from that very direction. I rubbed my eyes and felt like I spotted a white stain of sorts in the darkness. I focused my eyes on it, then rubbed them again. The white stain began to grow bigger and bigger with each footstep I heard. It was a white shadow, stretching tall from the ground. It had the shape of a person. It's weird seeing so many anime PFPs outside of CSGO. Mañana, I mean, don't you see anime PFPs all the time in Discord as well? Mañana nos vemos, Nico YouTube. I stood in place for a few moments, and the little shadow came close enough for me to reach it. It stopped right in front of me. Yeah, I still couldn't figure out what it was supposed to be. It looks like Sachiko's general outline. It had blurry contours and no colors. It really was just a white shadow. Sachiko's shadow, I knew it. As it swayed from left to right, I could have sworn it was crying. Suddenly it reached out and covered my eyes. Azure wants to have a sword fight with her imaginary peepee. Mister, are you watching this? Soy Sara Hernandez, mujer de Mexico. Sí, ¿cómo estás? Estaban hablando de danza del ventre, creo. Wait, what? Azure, what? He had SCX with the plates? What? I don't use DC at all. My bad, once or twice a month. Oh, okay. Fair enough. After blinking a few times, I looked around. I was back in a room. Before I knew it, I stood there in the middle, staring at the door. He said, let me join. What? For a moment, I thought I was back, but this wasn't the same room I came from. I'm back. Welcome back to Azure wanting to sword fight with her imaginary peepee. I looked around while rubbing my arms. It was incredibly cold. I wore a coat over a long-sleeve shirt, a choice of apparel that would keep me warm during winter, yet the air in this room felt like it could penetrate right through its layers, chilling my skin. The room was about the same size as Kozue's, but the interior was different. The bed actually had a canopy with a curtain. The curtain was closed, making it impossible to see inside. I took a few steps to see if causing any sounds would change anything. Join what? He wants to join the sword fighting. So many questions. Yeah, I know. I understand. The dry sound of my footsteps reverberated across the room, but that was about it. Couldn't feel anyone's presence. It was still as death. Only a faint reddish light illuminated the interior. I stuck my hands in the gap between the curtains and slowly pulled them away. There was no one on the bed, much like I had expected. The curtains completely surrounded the entire bed, blocking view of its sides. I could barely make out the lamp and a silhouette of a clock on one side. I had to circle around the bed to check either of its sides. I inspected the room's interior one more time as I walked around. There was a Dracenia plant in a pot by the door, and an oil painting of some landscape hung on the wall to the right of it. Underneath it rested an antique-looking dresser. It was well organized and neatly maintained. Feeling like I'd seen some of these things before, I returned my gaze to the painting. It was either the scenery or the painting itself, but I could remember neither what it was of, nor the painter who could have painted the thing. I walked closer to have a better look, but that didn't help. Perhaps I never really knew this thing to begin with. As my hand touched the dresser, I instinctively pulled it back. But then I realized I had no reason to be afraid and leaned against the desk. It didn't have a single speck of dust on it. Whoever used it must have been a clean freak. The dresser had cute bent legs. I spotted an odd dent on one of them, with a bit of wood chipped away. It was at around the height you'd stub your toe at. Just looking at it made my toe ache. GU, how old are you? I'm in my 20s. Let's leave it at that. And do you work? I do work. I work as a teacher for first grade. I got an actual sword. I got a Demon Slayer cosplay sword. Why? You don't get it? I have a freaking Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts. Because, you know, when you're a teenager, you buy things thinking it's cool. And then when you're an adult, you realize, I have this giant thing in my house that has no real purpose unless somebody ever breaks into my house and I just want to beat them with a heavy Keyblade. Relaxed by such a silly thought, I turned around and stopped again. I wondered how I knew that the shape on the other side of the bed was a clock. Alright, Diva Rain, see you later. Thanks for hanging out. Have a nice night, bud. Its silhouette was blurred. I couldn't have possibly figured out what it was based on just that. Yet I still knew it was a clock. It was a rectangle-shaped thing with a little roof on top. It had a round clock board on the top with a pendulum swinging underneath it. A little dwarf used to come out of it to play a melody whenever the clock struck the hour, but one of its springs had gone bad and now it no longer worked. Mr. asks for a picture of your pee-pee. Well, now. I mean, you could always send him a picture of a churro and try to see if it, you know, if it fools him. I listened to the swinging pendulum while gazing at the vague contours of the clock. I followed it to the other side of the bed. The sound that I thought was just my imagination turned more and more real with each step. A side table stood by the bed. The clock I just described rested on it. I felt my head grow hot when I confirmed it really was the same thing. It wasn't just the clock that I was familiar with. I knew that side table, I knew that lamp, I knew that dresser, I knew that painting. This was the bedroom of the apartment I shared with Sachiko. It was as though the memories frozen in the back of my mind began to melt. The pendulum sound went through them like an ice pick. The curtains around the bed moved, a slight gap opening between them. White steam rose from it. As I looked at that, I realized that my fingertips had grown cold. What is this chat, dude? I'm going to sleep? Sleep well, my guy. Thanks for hanging out. GU, can I send you another one of my favorite songs? Yeah, send it in Discord. Why? Wait, why to what? Sure. Jesus. I stuck my frozen hands in the gap between the curtains and slowly pulled them to myself. Someone was now on the previously empty bed. It lay on its sheets in a beautiful posture. It had the same face as me, but its skin was pale as snow. What the heck is happening? Policia? Azure, your song stinks, Click says. Thinking. I felt like I heard someone's voice. Oh, that reminds me! Onion, I listened to your song. Your song, Cry Baby Pajamas, or whatever it was, by Melanie Hernandez, or whoever it was. I listened to your song, and the first, like, full minute of it was just a baby. No, not even a baby crying, but, like, the mom's agony sounds during childbirth, I guess. And it reminded me of, like, Bloodborne, if you've ever played that game. I don't think you have, but there's this game called Bloodborne made by the same people who made Elden Ring and Dark Souls. And in Bloodborne, there's this one character who's like a gold trophy boss called the Queen of Yharnam. And even when she's not around, I think sometimes you could hear her cries in sort of like the last area of the game. And then when you're fighting her, you could also hear like some agonizing cries of hers that sound like the same cries as what was heard in that song. So that's all I kept thinking about during that song you sent me. I kept thinking of the Queen of Yharnam. Which, you know what? It kind of makes me want to play Bloodborne again, honestly. The lifeless lips of me lying on the bed remained closed. I strained my ears and indeed heard something again. It sounded akin to someone talking to themselves. The voice I heard in between the rhythmic sounds of the pendulum was likely the same one I listened to most during my life. You're tired, so you're out of here? Alright, click. See you again in 15 minutes. Have a good one, bud. Unsure of its source, I continued looking at myself on the bed for a while. That faint voice definitely originated in this room. I focused all my attention on it, careful not to disturb it with any stray thoughts, almost like an archaeologist digging out a brittle antique. And eventually I started to make out the words of that familiar voice. My surroundings suddenly grew dark. It wasn't because someone turned off the lights, I simply closed my eyes without being consciously aware of it. I finally realized the voice was coming from inside my head. Oh! Here we go, guys. 2 girls in bed. That night scenery was really beautiful, wasn't it? Alright, guys. Let's just appreciate this moment. Let's appreciate this moment for a bit, guys. And let me just, like, pull down all this YouTube stuff for a quick second. So I could take a screenshot and, like, just have it for later. Because I might need a screenshot. Thank you. This is beautiful. This is love as it should be. That night scenery was really beautiful, wasn't it? Which scenery? The one we saw at the Golden Cafe. I mean, we ended up going there because you wanted to see the location of your favorite movie. We rented a car for 2 days and you drove us up to the opposite shore. Don't you remember? I hear lots of suicides happen on that bridge. What a nice thing to remember. I remember it, but I want to hear how you remember it. Okay. Sachiko began telling me about our trip. Which tourist spots we visited after landing at the airport. How we spent time at the hotel. Sachiko told me about everything, right down to the smallest detail. Listening to her speak, I started feeling like going on another trip together. I want to go there again. Where? Wherever. You can decide this time. Yeah. Okay. I'll think about it. I felt the warmth of Sachiko's right hand in my left. Her slender fingers with its beautiful nails intertwined with mine. I had a mechanical clock once. What happened to it? He got so excited. I mean, why wouldn't I? Are you not watching this? We got rid of it quickly. Why? Should I put my name in Korean? No. How are we gonna remember you if you're Korean? How are we gonna know who you are? We about to see sex? Hell yeah. I can't sleep. Dang. I can't feel happy. Anyone says, what? Why? Have you decided yet? I asked. I'd like to go on a cruise. I want something where I wouldn't need to move a lot and could take my time reading books, she added. Well, I prefer something with a bit of physical exercise, personally. We can't do that after you get better. Hey, I'm fine. I think I've been getting a lot better lately. Sachiko's features clouded over. You really think so? I'd better ask the doctor, then. Sachiko pulled out a doll from the drawer and showed it to me. It wore a white lab coat. Here it is, Narasaki. Sachiko raised one of the doll's hands and said, Hey there, it's been a while. I remember it now. We played with this back in kindergarten, right? You must have seen it at least 100 times in my room. I found it the other day when I was looking for our graduation album. That's so nostalgic. Tell me about it, the doll said, raising his hands. Hey, if you're a doctor, could you do a checkup on me? Let's see, the doll's little hand pressed against my forehead. Speaking of which, where did your stethoscope go? I lost it somewhere. Well, not like I can't determine your condition just by looking at you. That's quite the skill to have. You have a fever. Does your head hurt? Just a little. It seems you need more rest. You should sleep for tonight. Click is back. Welcome back, Click. Sleep stinks? Oh god. You think you can manage that? I'm not feeling that bad. I can sleep just fine. I'll be here by your side, so relax and close your eyes. That's good to hear. David, what is that net at the end of your name? Click says. I returned to the darkness as voices in my memories drew farther away. I kept my eyes closed, waiting for the next voice. I didn't hear anything for a while, but I couldn't force myself to move. It was entirely possible that the moment I opened my eyes, I would no longer be in that cold room. Remnants of Sachiko's presence still lingered about, along with something of tremendous importance. As such, I remained still in the darkness. After waiting for a while, I started feeling like I was already hearing it. I could hear it, but my brain refused to comprehend or even process it. I continued to wait. After some more time, I lost sense of how long I'd been doing this. I found myself assaulted by drowsiness, trying to interfere with my mission. When I pulled my consciousness away to escape it, I heard the voice again. Why not go to sleep already? I'll forget a lot of things if I fall asleep now. You'll forget a lot anyway. I felt Sachiko's hand on my cheek as I made a sulking face. I wonder what happens when people die. No idea, that's up to God, I suppose. I don't really believe in one, though. I'd rather you decided it for me. Sachiko fell in thought. They say people remain in the hearts of their loved ones, and I agree. When I think about what you think, you appear inside my head. I'll keep thinking about you even when you're no more. You'll still be here inside me. What kind of place would that be? A great place. You'll live in a port town by a beautiful sea. It's quiet enough, the air tastes nice, and every season is perfect for reading. Wait. Is this what I think it is, Jack? I'll keep thinking about you even when you're no more? And you'll live in a port town by a beautiful sea? So is this like Sachiko's way of revealing that Takako is gone? But in her mind, she lives in this port town in a sanatorium with someone who likes to read, a bookworm girl. And I'm going to move there? Yes. There's only nice people living there, so it'll treat you well. Sounds like Wonderland. I suppose you could call it that. That sounds nice. Tell me more. Wait, what's happening? Is this all figment of the imagination or not? What is happening? I turned in the direction of Sachiko's voice and opened my eyes. However, her face was all blurry in the dim light and I couldn't make it out. Okay, I heard her voice. Nobody's real anymore. Narasaki is a doll. Takako is like dead or something. I don't understand. When I opened my eyes, I was in Kozue's room. Maybe Kozue is the only real character in the whole game. She's the only real person. I was standing in front of a bed without a canopy. Tears rolled down my cheeks. My last memory was that of regret. Sachiko is the one most in pain, yet I ended up relying on her again. And she took that heavy load on her shoulders for me with a gentle smile. Patches of orange sunlight illuminated my knees. The cold had abated as if it was never there to begin with. The pain and sickness I felt were completely gone too. I looked at my shadow on the bed and felt a sharp pain behind my eyes. That scene from earlier kept flashing into my mind. I had a recollection of the bed Sachiko and I lay on, and I already remembered the clock before even seeing it. That was, without a shred of doubt, our bedroom. We bought an apartment in the suburbs. It was about a 30-minute drive away from our office. The memories of the days we spent together came flooding back into my mind, like water crashing through a collapsing dam. That was way too much information for a mere dream. Besides, there was nothing ambiguous about those memories. I remembered everything with perfect clarity. My heart was racing in my chest. I gave up on processing everything for now and took a deep breath. As I looked around the room, I remembered the sanatorium. My thoughts then moved on to Mayuko, Sanae, and Kozue, and finally, to Narasaki. Sachiko mentioned that name in my returning memories. Narasaki knew Sachiko, and it was possible she was still here. Once I had calmed down, I hurried out of the room. I descended the spiral staircase in a hurry. As I emerged into the lobby, I nearly crashed into Narasaki, who was standing in front of the phone. Narasaki noticed me and turned around. Did you run into a polar bear upstairs or something? Her hand was resting on the phone's receiver. Have you finished your walk yet? I was about to leave. I want to ask you something about what we discussed earlier. Or can't you even spare a minute? Narasaki glanced at the stained glass on the door rather than the clock. I can stay while it's still bright outside. I'd rather not drive through the mountain roads in the dark, you know. So what's bothering you? Sachiko, you implied you didn't know her, but you do, don't you? What makes you think that? Narasaki shrugged. I remembered. Narasaki's the name of the doll Sachiko used to play with. And you look a lot like it, too. And this same Narasaki sent Sachiko's diary to me. You cannot be unrelated. It wouldn't make sense. Narasaki slowly inhaled a breath, then looked at the floor. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Like, the fact that Narasaki implied that she was something unusual, and, like, Lily, like, implied it as well. Like, yeah, you're a little different, aren't you? Is it because Narasaki is the doll, but the doll come to life? Like it could transform? Narasaki slowly inhaled a breath, then looked at the floor. I couldn't quite make out her face in the already dimly lit lobby. Her expression seemingly teetered between relief and exasperation, but I couldn't be sure. But Nico, you remember Netcat from the Genshin stream? Yeah, I remember. What happened? Her expression seemingly teetered between relief and exasperation, but I couldn't be sure. You're correct, I do know her. Why did you act like you didn't? I wanted you to remember it by yourself. You still could have said something. Narasaki shook her head. There would have been no point if you couldn't remember her yourself. If anything I said had caused you to remember something, it would have ended up distorted by my subjective point of view. It wouldn't be your genuine memory, and these kinds of certain things are the first to be taken away by your illness. Your Sachiko and my Sachiko are different. In order to remember your own Sachiko, you had to recall your memories by yourself. That's why I avoided saying anything about her. All I could do was unobtrusively guide you toward the key to your memories. I understood what she was trying to say. Even back when I read that diary, there were times when I wasn't entirely sure if those were really my memories or just my imagination. And when I started thinking like that, I'd grow anxious and uncertain. Once you forget something for good, you cannot be sure about it anymore. Thanks to you, I remembered something very important. However, some of the stuff I remembered is pretty crazy, which is why I'm so stumped right now. Narasaki spoke up, while I was trying to look for a better way to articulate my thoughts. What did you remember exactly? I'm pretty sure I now remember more or less everything about our life together. But those memories don't explain why I'm here. It's almost like I have two different selves, each with its own separate set of memories. I feel like the time I spent living with Sachiko was akin to a dream that felt very real. Narasaki calmly listened to my rambling. Maybe you really don't know her. For all I know, she could just be a figment of my imagination. Finding it hard to believe? Narasaki asked. But if you remember that much, we can always talk about it later. Narasaki turned back toward the phone. She picked up the receiver and pushed the coin into the slot. Maybe she's still there, she said while turning the dial. I drew closer to the phone and Narasaki held up the receiver in front of me. When I took it and pressed it against my ear, I could hear a long beep. Uh-oh, is the reunion upcoming? Are we gonna make it to the reunion? Because Saru already started streaming. Oh, last chapter. How long is the last chapter, Jack? Do you know? If it's like an hour or more, I might have to save it for next time. What do you think? I'm gonna wait for Jack before I continue. I don't know if I could proceed comfortably or if I should save it. Not very long. So proceed, less for sure. Alright, we'll proceed. If you don't get 90% distracted, wait. What do you mean by 90%? What do you mean 90%? I finished my conversation with Narasaki and sat down on the stool by the phone to catch my breath. After a couple of minutes, I stood up and was about to head to the spiral staircase when the phone started ringing again. I thought it was either Narasaki having forgotten to tell me something or some actual hotel business this time. After a few moments of hesitation, I picked up the receiver. Hello. It wasn't Narasaki's voice that reached me from the other end of the line. It was an even more familiar one, a voice I had listened to for most of my life. Come on, Jack, I'm gonna cry, bro. That line had power. Okay, I'm gonna get soft. I'm gonna get soft during this chapter, man. I hope Azure's not here. I don't want her to hear me crying like a bitch. Takako. Bro, look at this, man. Look at this. It's been a while, Sachi. Bro, look at how cute this is, bro. I can't. The abruptness of her call rendered my mind completely blank. It was most likely another one of my hallucinations, but there's something different about this one. Up until now, it's normal? Wait, what's normal? My head would always cloud over whenever Takako appeared, making me go through the motions as though in a lucid dream. This time, however, I felt no different from usual. My mind was serene as a lake. I could hear her voice clearly through the receiver. Where are you calling me from? A sanatorium? A sanatorium? Yeah, I've kind of been having trouble remembering things lately. I always knew you were just one step away from dementia. Maybe I was. Huh? Are you serious? I heard Takako chuckle on the other end of the line. Well, it's not like forgetting things is anything new to you. To get soft here? It's normal to get soft here? We'll see about that. We're gonna try to stay strong, Jack. Well, I see all these periods in chat because everybody's on their period, apparently. Well, it's not like forgetting. Is this everybody's way? I should ban periods. Is there a way to ban periods from chat? Jesus. Imagine having to ban punctuation. Remember the time you mixed up your shoes back in school? I do. I accidentally put on my friend's shoes after class in the AV room. That's still from the scope of reason, but after that you forgot to change them before leaving school and only realized what you were wearing when you got home. Yeah, I probably changed into sandals and went outside to hang out with you, but then my sister panicked when she got home and found unfamiliar shoes with someone else's name in the lobby, and the neighbors called the police. I was in for a shock when I got home and found a police car in front of our place. I had to explain the situation. And then the policeman who was checking my room for signs of burglary gave me such an exasperated look. There's no way I'll forget it until I die. Your memory is pretty bad even back in those days. That old episode made a smile naturally form on my lips. That's not entirely right. When I was younger, I just easily get obsessed with one thing or the other and forget about everything else. That was true, but it didn't change the fact that she was among the most forgetful people I'd met in my life. That said, there was little point in pursuing the subject any further at this point. The sanatorium sounds so not like you. Aren't you bored there? I'm not. If anything, this place is unlike any other. I'm free to do almost anything I want, so I'm actually having loads of fun here. And how do you feel? Not bad. I see. We both fell silent for a moment. I realized I kept asking questions without giving Takako the chance to speak up. So this time I paused and waited for Takako. I heard her voice again just before the silence could grow awkward. I was forgetful, I admit that. But that's why you were always such a lifesaver for me. You diligently remembered things in my stead. My lips unconsciously formed into a smile again. Well, as long as you understand. Where are you now, Sachi? I'm staying at a friend's mansion. To recuperate. Recuperate? Are you also sick? I contemplated explaining everything that happened to me thus far. However, I couldn't find the right words. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. It would have taken a long time to explain, and I wanted to speak to her about other things. I see, she said. How are you doing lately? She added after a pause. I wanted to talk to you for the longest time. Me too. I wanted to see you. We then talked about our past. About the trips we took together, the island in the far south, the countries in the west, our experiences on a long bridge. We discussed everything, from our days in the kindergarten to when we quit our jobs and went independent. There were a few details I forgot, but Takako filled in the blanks for me, and I did the same for her. I closed my eyes and gazed at the lucid memories on the back of my eyelids. Bro, them like filling in each other's memories, Jack. Bro, that shit almost choked me up just now. That's the cutest fucking shit. Those days came back to me and were now about to disappear again. After we finished talking about the time we snuck into a pool at night, Takako said that her coins were about to run out. She was on her last one. I slowly opened my eyes. I feel like me and Jack were talking before about how this game is like really weird and how it presents itself. Because the chronology is just like all over the damn place. But I feel like it was all meant for this one moment. Which I think Jack also kind of implied before, but damn, I see it happening, man. Those were happy days. Not were. We still have plenty more ahead of us. Wait, why are you guys calling my head hurts disappointing? What? I'm still top chatter by periods only. That's disappointing. Everything has a meaning. I'm starting to see it. I heard Takako whisper my name under her breath before falling silent. I whispered her name too. Oh, it's kind of hot and sexy now. I suppose this is goodbye? Yeah? Goodbye, Sachi? Wait, so they're not gonna get back together? I mean, I had a feeling that, you know, Takako might like Mayuko now. Maybe Sachiko might hook up with Nanai, but I was also waiting for them to get back together. I listened to the beeping sound for a while. I placed the receiver back into its place with a loud clang. I guess that was like the closure that she needed. But damn, this still feels... I'm confused. Because they just said they were going to make more memories, but they're also saying goodbye? I can't tell if they're going to get back together or if that was closure. I listened to the sound of our printer working quietly in the background. Suddenly it let out an electronic beep before stopping completely motionless. Oh, it stopped, Fumi said in front of the machine. Inukai, this thing swallowed my papers again. Fumi turned to Inukai, who was still working at his desk. He silently stood up, walked over to the printer, and kneeled down in front of it to open its tray. Onion is leaving? Where's Onion going? Gotta go, bye little horse kids, JK. Alright, Onion. We will miss you. Until tomorrow. I thought it was a steal when we got it from the neighboring office for almost nothing, but it keeps getting stuck all the time. To be honest, you really should know how to fix this by yourself. Inukai removed the cover from the back of the machine and pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. He pushed a button and the calm printing noise resumed. I don't want to get my hands dirty. Inukai glanced at his fingers, now covered in cyan-colored dye. What? Frowning, he pulled out a handkerchief from his back pocket and began wiping off his fingers. The handkerchief had a picture of a cute sheep on it. You can endure that much, can't you? It still beats going next door to beg every time you need to print something. Jesus. Okay, fine. There was a knock on the door as Inukai returned to his seat. Excuse me. The windows of our beige-colored door trembled in response to the knock. Yes? Fumi moved closer to see what was going on. I paused and shifted my gaze to the door. Sorry for the intrusion, but I was wondering if Miss Mizuno was currently present. Fumi was speaking to someone on the other side of the door. Yes, just give me a moment. I made out a long-haired, familiar-looking woman standing at the door. Nanai, a massive Boston bag at her feet, waved at me as our eyes met. Hey there, I came over to hang out. What? Takako put the receiver down and watched the phone in silence for a while before turning around to face me. She sounded like she was doing even better than I thought, she said with a broad smile. The light from the stained glass window had moved deeper into the room. After a few moments of silence, Takako parted her lips again. The last time I saw her was when we were in bed together. I have no recollection of waking up the next morning. Is this a dream? Or the world after death? I remember that night very well. Takako suffered from a very complicated disease and spent months in a hospital bed. But after it became clear that there was nothing that could be done to cure her, Sachiko brought her back home. Takako passed away about a month after that. Oh, so she is gone? Sachiko nursed Takako during that entire time. As her condition grew worse, she kept thrashing in her bed at night. Every time that happened, Sachiko would administer her the sedatives she got at the hospital to make her sleep. The pain and her fever rarely allowed Takako to remain conscious, but during her brief moments of awareness, she'd always say Sachiko's name, and Sachiko would always answer her. 2 days before her death, Takako regained consciousness for slightly longer than usual, and spent a brief time talking with Sachiko. They went over random episodes ranging from their childhood to their adult life, the fun they had together, what they felt and thought at the time. They discussed every single thing with no reservations down to the tiniest detail. Once they finished, Takako gave Sachiko a long, passionate hug and said goodbye. At this point, that episode remained only in my memories. I guess you can think of it like that. But it doesn't really matter. Whether this is a dream or anything else, you exist here all the same. And that was of utmost importance to Sachiko. I stuck my hands into my coat's pockets. The lobby had grown chilly as the sun began to set. It doesn't look like I've got much time. Is there anything else you want to know? Of course, there's a whole lot of things I don't understand. There's a thing or two I still don't understand myself, but I guess I can share with you what I do know. So, if I could speak with Sachiko, could I also meet her somehow? Your memories have returned. You should know what happened. Then how come I could speak to her through that phone? This was a special occasion. There's a way to connect both worlds. But it's not good for Sachiko herself. Normal people don't talk to voices in their head. I'd say it's about time to put an end to it. Takako said nothing and shifted her gaze toward the ceiling. Then tell me about yourself. You sent me Sachiko's diary and explained how my illness worked, so I assume it was no coincidence you handed me those keys either. What exactly are you trying to accomplish? Going to sleep. See you all. And Mr. I hope the bedbugs bite. Dang, that's effed up. Sleep well, my head hurts. They need to stop asking about Anyos. David, you don't have to answer them. Hold on, guys. Give me a moment. Alright. That wasn't a bad question. My objective was to recover Takako's memories, or in other words, to combine the scattered and chaotic remnants of Sachiko's memories of Takako into one continuous fold. I wouldn't have handed Takako the keys if the diary was the only thing that kept her memories together, and I couldn't have been sure she would be able to return from that cave, much less if her memories recovered once I did. But she ended up living up to my expectations and beyond. It was all to treat the memory illness. But why would you go so far to do it? Because that's my role. Takako dropped her shoulders with a puzzled look on her face. I glanced at the clock while she was thinking about her next question. The old man I met at the cafe the other day said it would rain tonight. He said he could tell that from how the clouds moved above the sea. I tried checking the sky afterwards myself, but it didn't make much sense to me. I blocked my head hurts, to be honest. I don't mind, Mr. said. Wait, what? Everybody's blocking everybody. Feels bad, but you guys do what you gotta do. Why? Your head hurt, mister? You good? Wait, what? What? I guided Takako toward the main subject. Do you think you could do a favor for me? Takako returned her gaze to me. Of course. You have no idea how grateful I am for everything you did today. I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, I want you to write your diary in the notebook I sent you if possible. I'm already writing it in my own notebook, Takako said with a puzzled expression. I want the diary in Sachiko's notebook to be a little different. It should be a special diary, I guess. I like you to write about things from a broader perspective, not just things that pertain to you personally. Could you be more specific? Like, when there are special events at the sanatorium, I imagine you'll all be going to visit the shrines at the start of the year. I'd like you to make a record of what the other people there have said or done. It should be something fun if possible. Naturally, you don't need to write in this diary every day. How often do you want me to write, then? A couple times a year would be just fine. That sounds easy. What's the point of it, though? It'll help to block the memory illness from advancing. Is the diary I'm writing now not good enough for that? Unfortunately, it's not perfect, and you'll still end up forgetting things here and there. You said I should take good care of that notebook when we spoke in the night duty room. Is it, like, special in some way? That notebook is an embodiment of memories. What do you mean? I mean it literally. Your notebook, as well as the ones belonging to the other patients in here, have the same function. That's why they're so important. There were a few pages torn out from that notebook. Do you know why? I shrugged. Takako slightly cocked her head to the side. Why would anyone tear up something that important, she asked. I stood up from the stool and straightened my jacket. Are you already going? Why don't you spend the night here? Well, they're saying that you're good. And they're asking if David is a man or a woman, which he doesn't need to answer. And now they're asking for your UID, but you're in Europe, so it's not gonna help them. Are you already going? Why don't you spend the night here? We have more than enough empty rooms. I have a hotel room booked. Besides, there's still something I need to do. I see. Takako followed me up to my car. She kept her arms crossed, seemingly deep in thought. She finally spoke up when I opened the car's door. Narasaki? What is it? You said our notebooks are essentially our memories. So what about the one you sent? Who knows? It's not yours, is it? Haha, you have an active imagination. Then again, that's hardly surprising in your line of work. I climbed into the car and leaned back in the seat. Will you come visit some other time? There's still a lot of things I'd like to ask you. I'll make sure to drop by if I get the chance, I said before closing the door. I fastened my seatbelt and ignited the engine. Takako followed my car up to the road beyond the sanatorium gate. She kept waving at me up until she disappeared from the rearview mirror. I checked in right before lockup time and crashed into bed as soon as I entered my room. I ended up sleeping until noon the next day. I woke up at one point at my usual time and thought about going to get breakfast, but ended up changing my mind instead fell back to sleep. I had nothing to do in the morning anyway. After all, I'd already finished most of my work. When I opened my eyes, it was already past noon. I slowly climbed out of bed and got dressed and left the hotel. I spotted a restaurant designed like a ship. As I made my way through the shopping district, I decided to drop in and have lunch there. I killed some time by reading the newspaper and listening to the radio. A young man in a suit and a middle-aged man wearing a knit cap entered the restaurant during that period. The young man finished the lunch he ordered and promptly left the restaurant. As for the man wearing the knit cap, he spent the afternoon reading a newspaper, leaving only when the sun began to set. When I was the only customer left, I spent some time having small talk with the waiter. After hearing the same story about the fishing grounds I'd heard from Takako the previous day, I finally left the restaurant, myself, pocketing a box of matches they were handing out as an advertisement on my way out. You started speaking French to ignore Miku? Jesus. You were speaking French? My bad. I continued the direction of the sea. As I walked along the long breakwater, I spotted some stairs leading down to the beach. A bit of sand found its way into my shoes as I got down, but I didn't mind. I spotted something shining in the sand. Picking it up, I realized it was the sea glass Takako showed me earlier. I looked around to find some other beads, green and blue, scattered all across the beach. Some of them had yet to get their edges fully chipped away by the sea. I picked one bead up and held it against the sun. It lit up in red. I felt like it'd be a waste to throw it away, so I slid it in my pocket. I walked along the beach until I reached the driftwood I'd previously only seen in the far distance when I began my journey. I glanced back at the town. The steps I took to the beach now looked tiny in the distance. I spent some time looking at the mountain, but I couldn't find the sanatorium. I lowered myself on the driftwood and watched the orange sunset for a while, giving my exhausted legs some time to rest. I prodded the sand with my heels, absentmindedly digging a hole underneath myself. I pulled out a file from my bag and removed a couple of papers from it. Welcome back, my head hurts. It was the medical record I pocketed at the consultation room, along with a few pages that were torn from the notebook Takako mentioned. I removed the pages from the medical record with a paper cutting knife I found at the hotel. I ran my eyes over all of them one last time. The first page had a date written in a child's hand. Though it looked like a diary, the notebook went into detail about an illness and its treatment. There was a record of the first time I played doctor with Sachiko back in kindergarten. Below the text, there was a crayon picture of Narasaki investigating Takiko's belly. Looking at it always made me remember the good old days. I couldn't help but smile. I pulled out a matchbox from my pocket and lit up a match. The flame was quickly extinguished by the wind, but I managed to successfully light another one. I guided the little flame to the page. It spread against the white surface, burning the words and the picture. When it became too hot to hold, I let it fall into the hole I dug earlier. I burned one page after another. When I had only 2 pages left, I realized my hand had gotten transparent. It looked exactly like what happened to my friends back at the clinic. The orange light of the sun illuminated me like it did the sea glass mere moments before. I looked at my old friends and the picture that Takako said was empty. I remembered how she asked me what I was trying to do as I burned the last page. The only thing written on it was the phrase, "I'm sorry." It was the last thing Sachiko said to Takako, as well as one of the parts of her that I erased. I crossed my arms and watched the remnants of the page burn inside the hole. When everything turned to ash, I could feel myself getting lighter. I wasn't sure if it was my body or my mind, but it didn't feel as bad as I thought it would. After confirming that every page was burned beyond recognition, I threw the rest of the files in my bag into the campfire. I made on the sand. I watched as the frame swallowed all the documents and the pictures attached to them. I stuck my hands in my pockets to realize I had sea glass in both of them. I took them out and compared the one I got from Takako to the one I found. The things sparkled in red, yellow, and blue, illuminating the sand below them. As the fire continued to soundlessly burn, I began to feel slightly lightheaded, almost as if I was somewhat tipsy. As an experiment, I tried remembering something old from the clinic. There was the little Sachiko, a rabbit, and a bear in the room. Sachiko was drawing a picture of everyone. Back in those days, Takako often came over to play as well. Although I could remember the rabbit and the bear, their names eluded me. That made me feel a bit sad. I lay down on the driftwood in case I might end up losing consciousness. As if to follow the course of the setting sun, I sluggishly began closing my eyelids and tried thinking about something pleasant. After a while, I lost the sensation of my body. Narasaki disappearing, bro. Hibiki. A voice reverberated in my head like a bubble rising from the ocean. I can't sleep. I heard the sound of rustling clothes along with the younger Sachiko's voice. You'll fall asleep sooner or later if you keep your eyes closed. It's boring to stay still. Just pretend you're fishing. I've never fished in my life. Try imagining you're floating in the middle of the sea under the moonlight. How far is that from land? Very far. But you won't sink, so you have nothing to worry about. And what then? I floated in the middle of the ocean, swaying in the waves like a fishing rod's string as you watch the night sky. The sky above was without clouds, allowing a clear view of the moon and the stars. The calm water reflected the stars, making me feel almost like I was floating in outer space. What then? Then you can watch the stars. Huh? That's it? If I do that for long enough, a large fish will eventually rise from the depths and swim by my back over and over again. Then she'll open her big mouth and swallow me whole. And at that point, you'll already be asleep. After a few moments, the characteristically rhythmic breathing of undisturbed sleep reached my ears. You should get a PFP of your favorite Genshin character, or like your favorite anime character, your favorite anime waifu in general. Who are your top 3 anime waifus? Also, everybody, thank you for the 12 likes. The calm waves caressed my cheeks as I floated in the darkness. I could already feel the presence of a big fish underneath me. I was then swallowed by the waves. I started to feel cold as I descended into the bottomless void. I could no longer move. I felt neither my eyes nor my fingers. I simply kept sinking deeper and deeper. I was going down to the very bottom. Hibiki. I opened my eyes, reacting to that small, high-pitched voice. The dark waves drew away from me, and before I knew it, I was back on the beach again. A small girl ran toward me, seizing my shoulders. She lifted my upper body from the driftwood. Wait, what? Who is this Kozue look-alike? I finally found you. The young Sachiko was looking straight at me. Wait, what? What are you doing here? I was looking for you. Takako told me everything. I see. I hit her a little as I turned my neck. That's because you slept in a weird place like this, said Sachiko upon noticing me wince. Sachiko took my hand as I stood up and brushed the sand off my hair and clothes. It'll be dark soon, we've gotta hurry, she said. Wait, who is this? Who is this young Kozue look-alike? Is it Narasaki? Is it Sachiko? Who the heck is this? I shook my still drowsy head and looked at her. She pulled me forward. I guess, let's go. I guess it's Sachiko. What kind of patient did you cure this time? Oh, I'll tell you once we get back to the clinic. We should grab something to eat on our way back. That sounds good. I like some crepes. You okay with the usual stand by the station? Of course. Let's go then. Yes. What is happening, bro? What is happening? I'm not bothering you, am I? Tell me if I am, and I'll go straight to my hotel right away. Then I fixed her slightly disheveled hair with one hand as she sat on the sofa in the reception room. Fumi brought a tray with tea and snacks and began lining them up on the table. She made a friendly smile when I greeted her, then returned to the office. I don't understand, Taco Bell. Why? Was that Miss Fumi? She cast a wary look at the door through which Fumi left. I nodded. I said I had time on weekends, but I didn't expect you to come so early. The office was next to the station, so I figured I'd drop by on my way to the hotel. I wanted to see where you work. I would have come to meet you if you had told me. Nah, I already feel plenty awkward for bothering you at work. Oh, this is Monica, isn't it? Monaca? And with rice cake too? I love these things. And I tore the wrapping off one of the snacks Fumi brought and began happily chewing on it. As she finished one, she began opening another. Her eyes wandered to a poster on the wall opposite of her. Did you draw that? Yes. The other one was done by one of my coworkers, though. Are those your posters too? Can I have a look? She pointed at a rolled up poster lying on the cabinet. If you want to. Whoa, some of these are pretty darn cool. I really like this one. She showed me a blue poster with dolphins and coral reefs in the background. How long does it take to make one? About a week. I see. Your job sounds kinda hard. I can't deny that, but I like it. Ever since I was little, I've never been good at art. I like to draw, but it all looked like crap. So it feels kinda overwhelming to meet a person who can actually create something of actual worth. Only a handful of things are really worth anything though. Really? For example? I'm not sure, but in my case, only the time I spent with her remains forever ingrained on my mind. It fills me with strength, no matter how tough things get. It helped me find the correct path in my life, so next time, I'd want to convey those feelings and be the one to support someone else. I see. And I pulled out a few pamphlets from her bag. Many of them had scenic pictures, the kind you'd usually see at tourism agencies. Hey, I've never really been here before, so do you think you'd show me around a bit over the weekend? I picked up one of the pamphlets and briefly inspected it. I doubt you'll have time for everything listed in here. What would you recommend then? How about this? Mixed in with all the pamphlets describing local areas, there was one with overseas destinations. Alright, Mr. Looking forward to having you back. I'm going overseas again next week to pick up some new furniture. A cruise along the Mediterranean Sea. How long of a trip are we talking about? Should take about a month, I'd say. And what about if you're in? It's not like we get many guests anyway. Auntie can handle it by herself. If I find an interesting postcard, I'll make sure to send it to you. I prefer something with beautiful scenery. I was just thinking about changing the postcards I have framed above my sink. The ship behind me sounded a horn as I shook Sanai's hand. Well then, I'll see you sometime later, I guess. Wait, what? Did Mr. block me? Yeah, I think he did. The clerk responsible for the gates urged me to board. I'm sorry. Because he kept saying he was mean. May you have a good trip. I handed him my ticket and sent it to the deck. Oh, what is happening here? A shame Kozue didn't come to see us off. What is happening? Is this... Oh, it's Mayuko, right? I turned to Mayuko, who stood by me on the ship. Well, it's not like we're going to be away for that long. I suppose so. We walked along the deck, watching the receding port town. Isn't that our sanatorium? I honestly doubt you can see it from here. No, that's definitely it. Look, there's a red building over there. I can't see anything. I'm pretty sure it's there. We should contact the others the night we come back and tell them to turn on all the lights. That way we'll be able to judge whether or not it's really there, I'm sure. I really doubt Kozue would want to do all that for a stupid thing like this. 2 streams, 2 blocks? I guess so. I'm sorry my head hurts. I'm sorry it came to this. Hey, we made a promise, didn't we? What promise? A fierce wind blew across the deck, drowning out our voices. Don't think this will be the last place I'll take you to. I almost cannot wait. That was a cute, very, very cute art picture. Is this like the credits? Yeah, it seems like this is the credits. Alright, Jack. So I guess... Let's talk now. So I guess Takako's dead. And I guess Takako and Mayuko are gonna... They're a couple now. And I guess Sachiko and Anai might become a thing. I'm still confused about Narasaki being the doll but also being a human. And I'm confused as to why Narasaki was walking with a Kozue lookalike that was potentially Sachiko. I don't know if there's gonna be a post-credit scene that will illuminate something, but it was a cute ending, but also I'm still left with some confusion. Probably to no one's surprise, as I am always confused. Is it the end of stream? Well, it's the end of Seabed. And also, I suppose, the end of stream. There's a lot to unpack there. I mean, there is. And a lot of the artwork was very cute. So off stream, I'm gonna be going back and taking some screenshots. But yeah. Alright guys, so let me give some announcements. First, let me talk to Jack. So I do have Enigma, Jack. I don't think we'll be streaming it right away. If you want me to ping you specifically when I start streaming it, let me know. It might not happen until like March, I'm guessing. I don't know. But I will be streaming it sometime around March or during spring, I guess, like March, April. The next thing that I'll be streaming in Seabed's slot will be another Yuri visual novel. So we're going to continue with Yuri visual novels on Saturdays, but we'll be streaming a new one soon. And yeah, Genshin Saturday and Sunday mornings. And I'll be doing something tomorrow afternoon, I suppose. I still have to decide if I want to continue Minoria or do one of like 3 other games. But I might do one of 3 other games. There are 2 games in particular I'm very excited about. So hopefully you guys come for those tomorrow. One of them might be a visual novel if I decide to go that route. If not, I might go for an action game. But yeah. Everybody says don't end stream, but my guy literally says Finn on screen. Like, what more can we do past Finn? Unless they give us a last minute tip or something. Which I don't think they will. Oh, well. Well, yeah, they did. Tips 4. Tips 4! Alright, guys. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Oh, it's just 1 tip, not 2 tips. A holiday at the sanatorium. Alright, let's check this out. Can you sing, GU? Nobody ever wants me to sing. Mr. will unsubscribe if I sing. Ooh, beach episode? I switched the tongs to my left hand and brushed the sweat off my forehead with my right. The vast blue sea extended under the blue sky as far as the eye could see. I could feel the fierce sunlight and the heat of the reddening charcoal against my skin. Is it working? Mayuko took a peek inside the grill. The charcoal's finally starting to glow, I said as I continued to fan the thing. Do you want to try cooking something? Mayuko picked up one of the boiled corns we brought with us. If you end, I will find you. What's going on, Dab? I think we need more charcoal. The last time I tried this, it went out right away. Man, this is hot. This is the best way to end, Jack. The last time I tried this, it... Oh, wait, is it really charcoal that's to blame, though? Sanai's grill is working just fine. Sanai decided to be our chef for the day and started cooking rice at a canteen a bit further away. Huh? Seriously? I turned around, my eyes meeting Sanai's. Is something wrong? Using the same charcoal as me, right? Alright guys, hold on. Let's change the stream title. Let's change the stream title. We're gonna add some stuff. We're gonna add sexy beach episode. Because that's... everybody needs to know, you know? Gotta farm those views. Gotta farm that clickbait. Gotta farm the clickbait, my guys. Wait, word, girl. Don't worry. Jack, I got his address already. What? Gotta go. Be right back. Alright, enjoy your meal. I took it from there. She pointed at the charcoal bag by the cooler box. That really is the same one. Then maybe the top got moist or something? Narasaki did the charcoal part for me, so maybe she knows how it works. When I returned to our bags to get some fresh charcoal and fire starter, Narasaki and Kozue passed by me. The former was pulling the ladder by the hand. Where are you taking me? Seems like it's going to take more time, so let's go for a quick swim in the meantime. I glanced over my shoulder and saw that the table we asked Kozue to handle had already been neatly set. The cups on the table even had our names on them. You can go if you want, but it'd be nice if you could prepare the kebabs while I try to figure out how to get the fire started. Welcome back, Mister. Took out a skewer from the cooling box and showed it to them. The meat and vegetables are with Mayako. Okay, fine, said Kozue, taking the skewer from me. I asked Narasaki to help me with the grill. When Narasaki rearranged the charcoal, it lit up in seconds. I see, so it's better to stack them vertically. Heat always rises up, so it's best to arrange the charcoal in a way it makes it easiest for it to travel. If you do it well enough, you don't even need to fan it. You're pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. I heard about it in some book. I lined up the charcoal so I could better control the flame, then put a wire gauze on the grill and tried grilling one piece of meat. I could hear it sizzle. Oh, I let out an excited shout. I want to join the sword fight, mister. Why'd you block me? Wait, what? Is Dab... my head hurts? Yeah, he is. I glanced at Mayako and Kozue preparing the kebabs. The grill's ready. Mayako nodded. She and Kozue then brought over the skewers. So now I approached us as well, eager to watch. Well, let's start cooking then. Hey, wait a second. While I was contemplating how best to order the skewers on the grill to get them evenly roasted, Kozue began grilling her kebab by herself. What do you want? Just so you know, there's an unwritten rule in these parts. The seniors get the first bite while the youngsters wait for their turn, so... Hey, are you even listening to me? Kozue put another kebab on the grill while I was talking. I prepared one for everyone. This one's Mayako's, and those are Narasaki's and Sanai's. This one is yours. By the time she finished, 5 kebabs had already been placed on the grill. They all had bite-sized pieces of sweet pepper, shiitake mushrooms, onions, chicken, and paprika skewered on them. They all seemed to follow the same order, looking pretty colorful and nice. Now we're talking, Narasaki exclaimed. Kozue's kebab, still on the wire gauze, looked and sounded amazing. Am I imagining this, or is there almost no meat on my kebab compared to the others? Put the same amount on all of them. Did you season them? I know dang well you want to join us so badly, for real. Wait, what happened here? How did I get to this screen and how do I close it? Why is it not closing? Oh, oops, that's not the right thing. Narasaki asked what everyone wanted to drink, then moved to the table and filled all our cups before bringing them back to us. After confirming it was cooked just right, I picked up my kebab and gave everyone an eye signal and raised the toast. I brought these kebabs purely on a whim during a shopping trip, but it turned out to be a good decision. They taste really good. After finishing my first one, I started putting one ingredient after another on my skewer, pretty much randomly, eating as much as I could. The cheese fondue Mayako made was also delicious. Out of nowhere, she placed some camembert cheese on an aluminum foil and melted it above the grill. I figured it was safe to call my first barbecue party in a long while a resounding success. The meat's done. I had long since lost count of how many plates I sent to the others. When I was about to offer Mayako another plate, she refused, claiming she'd already eaten more than enough. The plate in Sanai's hand still looked almost completely packed with food. Kozue refused to eat anything else after filling herself with cheese fondue and was already on her way to the beach with Narasaki for another swim. She must have taken a liking to being pulled around on her floating ring. I've played with her too, but ended up pulling her too far from the shore, and it got swept away by a huge wave. Getting back to shore was quite the adventure. After that, she never let me near her floating ring ever again. Well, I guess I'll just eat all the rest on my own then. I moved the onions and chicken to my own plate. So it's all about kebabs. Wait, what? What? There's another one? Jesus Christ. We gotta go to Saru's stream soon. I don't know if I should do another one. Is it gonna be quick? We can't keep doing tips. It's another beach one. Jesus Christ. I ate too much. I got a little carried away this time. This feeling of bitter regret made me remember the few times I've visited an all-you-can-eat restaurant. I seriously overestimated my poor stomach's capacity. Are you okay? My uncle brought me a drink. I'm feeling better. I took a sip from the water bottle she handed to me. I really was feeling better now, just like I'd said. Still, it didn't seem like I'd be able to do any swimming today. Where are all the others? At the beach, playing. I glanced toward the shoal in the distance and could make out 3 figures playing volleyball at the beach with what looked like my ball. They seemed to be having fun. My uncle smiled. Too bad you can't join them, huh? I'm just glad they get to enjoy this at least. Coming to the sea this year was a good idea. I nodded in agreement. Overseas trips are great, but sometimes the coolest places can be found right under your nose. I spent a few minutes gazing at the sea with Mayako, then slowly stood up. Where are you going? Just for a walk. I feel like it might help my stomach. David is German. Where is Saru's stream? On Twitch. Just for a walk. I feel like it might help my stomach. Want to join me? I'll look after the bags here. Okay. Anyways, I'll be off then. Began walking toward the shoreline. The soothing sough of the waves and the pleasantly light breeze made me forget the heaviness in my stomach. It didn't take long to reach the end of the small beach. It was cut off by the protruding cape, forming a small cliff. The shallow reef at its bottom seemed to have continued all the way to the opposite shore. I looked behind me, but Mayako and the others were too far away for me to make out. Overtaken by a sudden adventurous impulse, I climbed down the little cliff and continued down the shallow reef toward the other side. My path grew wider the further I went. As I closed in on the cape, the waves beating against it splashed against my face. I gazed at the sea from that position. There was not a single soul in sight. I braced myself for another splash in the face, but no other big waves seemed to be coming. The only thing caressing my cheeks was the calm sea breeze. Suddenly, I felt like I spotted someone on the other side of the cape. My heart skipped a beat when I saw the person in question. Uh-oh, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Wait, what's happening here? Is this the true ending or something? Is it true ending? This is gonna be like a leave it open to interpretation ending. A moment later, the person had already vanished. I blinked a few times. Must have been my eyes playing tricks on me. After spending some more time gazing at the beautiful scenery, I decided to make my way back to the others. Sachiko would eventually come here, and when she did, I had to be ready. After all, she did this all for me. I'm so confused. Aren't they like in separate worlds because she's in the afterlife? And isn't she like in love with Mayuko now? I feel like they gave like a highly leave it up to interpretation ending. Jesus Christ. We could talk about it more in the Discord, Jack, if you want to talk about it, because I don't even know what to say, but that's interesting. Can't really tell what's real or what's not real anymore. Alright, guys. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks to everyone who liked the stream. I don't think we got any new subscribers during the stream. Yeah, we're still at 259. But thanks to everybody who liked the stream. Thanks, and yeah, I appreciate interacting with you guys. All the conversation and communication was a lot of fun. Minus the fact that you guys are fighting and blocking each other. That part not so fun. But I was too invested in the reading of the novel to catch what was going on for the most part. It seems like there were some misunderstandings. I don't know. We're gonna have to address that in the future, I guess. Since you play the Switch version, it has some exclusive bonus content, does it? Was part of that the CGs that they said that I unlocked? Oh wait, I accidentally clicked on this again. Alright, whatever. My bad, I started that. Dang. You're gonna have to fix it, Azure. Get everybody to get along again. It's fine. I don't know. You seemed like one of the ones most upset, mister, but I'm glad to hear that you think it's fine. Maybe. Kinda. If you want to tell me more about it on Discord, you can tell me more on Discord, Jack. And then maybe I'll be able to check it out off stream. But alright guys, so this is where we're ending stream. Tomorrow I'll be streaming Genshin in the morning. In the afternoon, I will stream either a visual novel or a action game. Next Saturday, we will continue our Yuri Saturdays, but with a different visual novel since we finished Seabed. Hope you guys enjoyed watching Seabed and enjoyed chilling here and chatting. Until next time, eat well, sleep well, take care of yourselves, guys. Adios.